Niamh,
Yeah.
tell us everything.
About the wedding I went to?
No, just about
we can cover the wedding at some point, but let's just start from the beginning.
Okay, who was the first lesbian?
Ever?
Yep.
Yeah.
Camilla the vampire.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Is it true that all lesbians have some kind of vampire? I don't want to say power, so I'm just going to say lineage.
Yeah, definitely.
I knew it. I was telling you that, Bryan. Remember?
Yeah. It's why they're always doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lesbianing. The verb.
Mm-hmm.
To lesbian.
We call it to make magic.
Oh no. This train's crashing and burning and I'm loving it.
This is what happens when I don't prepare an anecdote.
Okay. The first lesbian was Camilla, and the last lesbian
Whoa.
is Niamh.
So this is projected long into the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we talking centuries or like millennia?
Oh, we do not have long left.
Okay.
So this is only like maybe around 500 years into the future.
Will me and Bryan ever meet Niamh?
Oh yeah, like
she's gonna fucking hate me.
Is huge. She's like 20 feet tall, and she has little pockets because she has combat pockets, but they're all made out of steel. And I'll keep you in one of those.
Okay,
There you go.
I think there's worse ways to ride out the apocalypse, right?
Yeah, Niamh is powered by the consciousness of all other people, and she roams the barren planet.
Just like regularly. Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. The world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with the two most dangerous wasteland survivors. To my left, it's the Baron.
I've got bones for sale.
You got any water left in the wasteland? Not anymore, you fucking don't. Bryan.
Just bones.
To my right, 80,000 feet tall and made entirely of plutonium, it's Niamh.
Hello.
And with you always, the cockroach of Let's Fight a Boss, the everlasting nameless king, it's John. So I guess right up front here, I wanted to get some kind of housekeeping stuff out of the way. I know we don't talk about a lot of like behind the scenes stuff on this podcast. We like to maintain the kayfabe. But last week we said that we had a special guest. And the truth was, it was not a special guest episode. We said that so he could save face. This was an audition. And, you know, there's certain responsibilities that come with being the nameless king of the podcast. And it's with a heavy heart, I just have to say that he blew it. Wooly Versus is not going to be a permanent member of Let's Fight a Boss. And I understand a lot of people are going to be upset with that. But I think if you listen back to the episode, personally, I found him lacking in several ways. So sorry, Wooly. Back to the little leagues. Maybe next year. Better look some other time, buddy. You guys, any thoughts for Wooly?
Best wishes.
Yep.
I think if he does one or two more episodes of a podcast, he might get the flow of it a little better.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to him after the podcast, like, it's meant to be entertaining.
Like, we're meant to be having fun.
Like, you're meant to kind of throw some jokes in there or something like that. And he just kept looking at me with this big blank expression, being like a conversation. And I was like, yeah, Wooly, but like not boring. And he just would not go in. And like I felt so bad for him because like, you know, he was trying and like the segments about the kites, you know what I mean?
It was kind of cute to humor it. Didn't, you know, like it went on, it took its time, and we eventually got to the important part of the podcast, which is the video games, obviously. It's why everyone listens to us.
And like 3 hours, I don't know about you guys, but by hour 3, I just wanted to get out of there.
I couldn't leave. It was my fucking apartment. I just wanted to fuck the table out the window, but, you know, just being honest.
Yeah, but I think, like, some people are cut out for podcasting, some people are not, and that's what that night taught me. We'll probably never do another special guest again after how fucking disastrously that went. But, and like, it's not Wooly's fault. Like, he didn't try and ruin the podcast. It's just what happened.
Yeah, it seems innate in him.
Hey, listen, all the best to his future endeavors. I don't know what else he does, but
Me neither.
yeah.
Who's Wooly?
Yeah. I think that's a good note to end this on. Oh boy. Niamh, I've been so curious to hear about Malignant.
Oh man.
This fucking film.
Did you see it, Bryan?
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Like this is a film, and then it's, I don't know what the fuck this is. It's an experience.
It really is. Oh god, it's so weird. So,
Are we... Oh, sorry. You go on.
what did you...
A positive or negative? Are you glad you experienced
I
this?
think this might be James Wan's best movie.
I think James Wan knocked it out of the park with this one. He set a tone and then screamed into that microphone until we all started nodding and going, "You did it, James. You fucking did it." This is James Wan, who's behind Saw, who's behind the Conjuring films. He recently did a few Fast and the Furious movies. He's a very prolific man. Mm-hmm. But he's done a lot of horror movies, and he's stepped back to horror, and this is a brand new story from James and his partner, whose name I can't remember, and I actually want to find out because she's in the film as well.
Yeah, she's a bit of a bit role in it, but I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
This was like super weird stylistically because it feels like James Wan obviously has been doing a lot with horror with Conjuring, and like I think the Conjuring series really catapulted that kind of Halloween time period blockbuster horror movie for like just a whole pile of normies to go see kind of thing, and like I think he's gotten that down to a science, but I found a few of them have been lacking. Like I don't know if you've seen the recent Conjuring from this year, Conjuring 3.
It's probably the weakest out of the three. Like it's still good, but it's very much like you're watching Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga doing their thing again.
Yeah, just kind of, I don't know. I kind of got bored with that one, and it's just like, how do you revitalize the Conjuring verse? And James Wan did it by bringing one of the best new horror monsters, like horror slasher villains in so long.
Good.
I get really excited to hear that because that is such a difficult thing to do.
Yes.
It's like it had a lot of things I like Ghostface from Scream. He's really clumsy and falls over a lot, and I think it's part of his character that kind of gives him an air to him where he's very scary and menacing, but will also fall over a couch.
Yeah, because he's a stupid, hateful teenager.
Yeah, and like this character had like movement stuff that was so unusual that was both creepy but also kind of vaguely hilarious while you're watching it.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
really lined it all up in one neat little package by the end. Yeah, so it's about a woman who's recently had a miscarriage and is in a domestic situation where her husband attacks her, and a hooded mysterious killer comes out of nowhere and kills her husband for her, essentially. Then she's kind of brought back into her family that she's estranged from, and from there kind of uncovers the history and secrets of her past and what this mysterious killer has in relation to her. Is that more or less the gist of the film?
That's pretty much the gist. It has that like James Wan thing and kind of just like modern horror in general, where it's like this modern couple, they don't have any kids, but they're staying in this huge manor house with like 10 rooms and a lot of space in it, because it kind of gives that spooky vibes. It kind of had like Haunting on Hill House kind of vibes with that, and it's kind of color grading as well. It's
definitely that thing where it's like a big living room where none of the furniture is up against the wall, so the cameraman can go around the furniture, but it's like twice the size of a normal house because of that.
And these modern adults like don't own any IKEA. Like the decor is all from a certain period. It kind of sounds like a
video game house.
Yes,
yeah, it is.
I thought of Resident Evil multiple times throughout this. I was like, this would be a very good level, because you have people like with their torches moving through very different locations. And this movie has a budget. Like it looks lovely. Like
with
it
like
looks
really
super
high
good.
ceilings and everything everywhere, and crazy lighting, and they really like built these sets, and they use these sets to the full max. Like there's this one where there's like an overhead top-down shot of her being like chased by the killer, and like they map out everything.
It is an extreme overhead, so it looks like 12 minutes. Like, and it is following her through the house. So the house looks like a dollhouse.
Rad.
It's super cool. So it's like it has that kind of aesthetic where it seems older than it is, but it's also set in modern day, and that kind of gives it a bit of a Mike Flanagan vibe, because you're also dealing with domestic abuse and kind of just like kind of trauma, and it seems slower at the start and it seems kind of grounded, and then it like goes
by the last half hour, like our eyes are open and we see the truth, and it's not
Niamh's hands are covering her face.
It's not a horror movie per se anymore. It's more just like it's a movie, and sometimes my favorite things about movies are that they are not our reality, but rather a fictional reality for us to like step into and take in. And Malignant welcomes you with open arms into the setup that they have led you to believe.
Mm-hmm. So it has that really like basis of this kind of more, maybe this is going to be grounded in kind of like trauma or kind of stuff like that. And it has an extended cast in it that are all like, they have small bits, but they're all very interesting casting. So they kind of stand out as characters in a like more developed way, even if they don't get a lot of time. So you're kind of rooting for everyone. But this just goes so fucking off the rails that I don't want to give any spoilers to it.
No.
Because it was like one of the most insane things I've seen in a horror movie in so fucking long. It's like so gross and...
But like it looks so cool as well.
It's so cool.
Like they work so hard to convince people to go, all right, and I was on board. But like I didn't know much about this one going in, only that like don't read anything about it. Just like go in and like leave your expectations at the door and just go with the flow.
Okay.
Because it's absolutely one of those films.
I love hearing that about a film before going to see it.
Yeah, I've got the two writers. So like, it is written and directed by James Wan, and then his partner Ingrid Bizu is in it as well. So she co-wrote it with him, but she has a bit role in this as like a klutzy detective or like crime scene girl who has a crush on the hot Asian detective. That is clearly James Wan's self-insert in the film. Like it's not even subtle. The main woman, it's very good.
Yeah, she's really good. I haven't seen her in anything else.
No, same.
But she has a lot of work to do.
She does.
And, I don't know.
And I'm pretty sure like the person who's playing the killer or the team that are playing the killer, their choreography and their like behind the scenes work is just like so well rehearsed. And some of it is CGI, but apparently a lot of it is actually just like acrobatics.
The choreography in this is amazing. Like it is spectacular how people move in some of these spaces.
Like I'm sure this isn't it, but like the way you guys are describing it, I'm kind of picturing like you know Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes with Snake like cartwheeling over doors.
John, this movie feels like it belongs in the Metal Gear Solid storyline.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Like it is some Metal Gear Solid 4 plot reasons.
I'm sure you could bring some good solid horror out of the Metal Gear Solid universe.
I don't even like some of the locations they end up in are crazy, like the underground old-timey cart storage,
which apparently is a real like tourist spot.
It's so nuts.
There's this like haunted like insane asylum they go to essentially, and it is just like this weird looking matte painting / set. They're in it for like 2 minutes, and it's really underused, but because it's so underused, it just has this like wild potential to it. But at this point you're like 2 hours into the movie and you're like, what have you got for us?
Oh, this sounds great. Okay, I'm intrigued.
I can't believe this film exists. It doesn't need a sequel or anything like that. This just needs
but Brian, they totally set it up for it. They did. Yeah. I was just like, split.
Yeah. So, without going into too detailed spoilers, there's one bit towards the kind of final act of the movie where they're in a like short-term holding jail, and there's a lot of prisoners in a cell, and some of the costuming on some of the prisoners is ridiculous. It's like something out of like a B movie or like an exploitation film. They do not look like normal people who walk around in the 21st century, let's say. And at that point, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get which universe we're in now, or which timeline we've teleported ourselves back to. But yeah, fantastic movie.
That sounds great. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Bryan, why don't you tell us about Koku Nojito?
Koku Nojito. This is a new manga I've started reading. About 3 or 4 volumes in. Koku Nojito stands for The Climber. And it is a rock climbing manga.
Oh, a non-battle manga?
Pretty much.
What the fuck are you talking about, Niamh?
Well, actually, it's more like a sports manga, right? Mm-hmm. But you know the way a popular theme in sports manga is teamwork? And, you know, working together to, like, share the victory and success.
Sure.
This is about one guy, a teenage boy, who is just so solitary and so unable to just, like, establish relationships with people. All he wants to do is climb up mountains and be left alone.
Now, I do have to tell you, Bryan, that is about 50% of sports manga.
Because they keep bringing in these tropes where guys are like, hey, if you stick with me, we could climb to the top together. And the main guy's like, no. And every single time he's just rejecting any form of friendship.
Is it going to get to the point, like, I don't know, chapter 10, where he meets the person he wants to climb to the top with? Or do you think it's going to be about his solitary adventure? So
there's 2 halves to this. Okay, and so it's written by a guy called... well, it's written by 2 writers here, but it was only on the other... It was on the other side.
Bryan, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to pause there. Need you to get your fucking shit together. Okay, this is complete... Like, Niamh, let him have it.
Not good enough?
It's just not professional, Bryan.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to join Wooly in the fucking sewers. Is that what you're trying to say?
Me and Niamh took a long time writing the script out for this week's episode, and you keep fumbling it, and just... There's one writer, like you can see it right there in the script. One writer.
Stick to the prompt. Okay.
Yeah. Only don't take all this out if people find out that this isn't off the cuff. We're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I think people need to know how well rehearsed we are at this. Except for me, I'm not, unfortunately.
I haven't played a video game in like 4 years.
No, why would we? It's illustrated by a mangaka called Shinichi Sakamoto, and the artwork is almost as good as like Death Note's, almost as good as like Takeshi Obata's artwork, and it's very reminiscent of that artwork.
Did you see Platinum's End is getting an anime?
Oh, great.
Is that the Angel one?
Yeah, that shit sucks.
I thought you'd be super pumped about that.
No, I don't want to watch. I'm done with that. I read it and I was like, bye. I'm loving this rock climbing manga though.
Oh yeah.
So it's about this guy. He's 17 and he's ripped, and his name is Bun-chan or something like that. I can't remember his real name, but people like there was one female character very earlier on in the story called Bun-chan. She's not in anymore.
Get that shit out of here.
Because this story gets real homoerotic. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of just like dudes being like, hey man, if you stick with me, you'll be safe. And he's like, no, there's a different guy out there. But then the guy out there is in a coma, so I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe if he climbs the right mountain and makes a wish, his friend will wake up.
This sounds great, Bryan. This sounds very different to what you usually read. How did you like come in contact with this one?
I guess it is published in one of the seinen weeklies. I can't remember which one, but it came up from that recommendation. But like, you know how both of you have like sports manga, or like I guess shonen seinen manga, where like a character goes beyond the human limit and transforms their body to like defeat the foe or defeat the like you know,
or themselves.
Yeah. So there's a lot of extreme like perspective angles of people like detaching their arms from the sockets so that they can like reach higher. Like
grapple hook.
Like there is so much subtle body horror, especially when they get high up and up the mountain, that they start like getting air pressure into like, and they're like, oh, my blood looks different, so my fingers have ballooned up. It's like, and the drawings are fucking amazing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that's like Yoi Mushy Pedal, where it's like the body horror and
the cicada sequence from that, Bryan?
Oh yeah, because he hatches out from his skin and there's a new one underneath, and that's what's going to excel him past the finish line. There's a lot of this, but then like the homoerotic stuff was real good. Like there's like twice now it's happened where a guy has like grabbed the protagonist on the shoulder, and the guy goes, "Whoa, his hands are so big." Because it's so important that like the characters have big, strong hands with grip because you need to fucking climb. But like, then there's this other climber, and he was only introduced for a brief moment. But his whole thing is that he's kind of like a bat, where he hangs upside down by his feet, and he's like, he doesn't use any ropes. Whoa! Like, he's a bad boy climber.
That's fucked up.
And this is another one where you could tell the author has done all their research on climbing and climbing equipment and all the terminology and any jargon related to like professional mountaineering and
You'll
rock
get
climbing.
like a full 2-page spread on finger grips.
Oh yeah, there's several bits about what are the correct clips, like tying the right ropes, what sort of shoes to wear. Like the tighter the shoes, the better, because that way your toes can feel the mountain. I'm really enjoying this. It's 17 volumes. I'm only at the beginning of it, and
wow.
I'm gonna scale this fucker.
I hope there's a point where someone touches a mountain and is like, "This is the most hateful mountain I've ever seen."
I'm looking at an image from this, and it is a mountain made from human bodies just entangled with each other, and the art is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it gets very, very cerebral.
A person at the top naked.
Wow.
I think it's gonna get to the point where like the main character is not he's not interested in being friends with like humans and civilization. He just wants to climb mountains, and I think there's going to be a lot of like, fuck humanity, hell yeah mountains.
I mean, who couldn't get behind that?
And like it's got such nice artwork. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's kind of crazy looking.
And it's so atmospheric. There's so many like 2-page spreads of just like some dude in the howling wind with like a storm going around him, just like scaling a mountain, and he's insignificant, but he has his like neck tilted back, and he's just like, I am here now.
Nice.
Do you like this Reddit caption?
I hate Reddit so much.
Yeah.
It's a shit website.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not putting any of these pictures up online. I think people just need to read this manga and know that it comes with like a heavy warning that it gets fucking weird on top of the mountain.
like from the 2 pictures I have seen, you were not joking about body horror.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That sounds pretty good. And pretty gay. Speaking of pretty gay, it's Wrestle Talk. So, Daniel Bryan left the WWE. We talked about this.
Yeah, good man, Daniel.
Good man, Daniel.
Good man, Bryan.
And now has reverted to his pre-WWE form, Bryan Danielson, which is his real name. Because at some point, Vince McMahon was like, Bryan Danielson, you need to be more of a Daniel Bryan. That's how Vince talks.
It is, yeah. It's a very good marketing ploy.
That's a real horrible power move where you're not even giving someone like a brand new name. It's just like, I need to change it in some way. It's weird.
Niamh, I could write a book on all the weird and awful power moves Vince McMahon has done over the years, but he's an awful human being. But anyway, Bryan Danielson is now free from him. Went to AEW, which is a big deal. AEW been doing super well, CM Punk and all that kind of stuff. And last AEW Dynamite, or as of recording this, they put on a 30-minute match, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. And these two, to me, are, in mainstream wrestling, the 2 best wrestlers on the planet right now. And the fact that they would wrestle is a real... I really can't believe this is happening. Like, a year ago, this would have been impossible. Like, Daniel Bryan main evented WrestleMania, Bryan Danielson... The idea that dude would ever not be a part of WWE anymore is just so fucking crazy. It was surreal. You know, it was surreal watching them come to the ring. It was surreal seeing them in the ring together. And before they even touched, the entire crowd was going fucking insane. Like, just the energy in this. And like, Bryan Danielson had this like big smile on his face because he's just like a little wrestling gnome. He's not a gnome. He's probably much, much bigger than me.
Oh, he's a lumberjack. Come on.
He's not what you he's not what you think of when you think of WWE wrestler.
He's very thin.
He's got a kind of chunk to him now that I appreciate. Yeah, he looks good.
Okay, well, I guess compared to other WWE wrestlers, he would have been a bit of a pencil.
He does not look like someone who is going to appear in a Marvel movie at some point. He looks like a hippie who is really into like veganism, and his special move is called the cattle mutilation. He's just that's who he is, you know. Then across the ring you had Kenny, who's just become this ultra heel in the last while.
Kenny,
he's not styling himself as pretty as he once was, and I find that disappointing, but I understand why he does it. I think he's trying to make himself look kind of gross. And
what's his new look?
I don't. If you just type in Kenny Omega AEW champion, he kind of has mutton chops, which I'm not convinced they can. And look, anyway, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's got. He is a beautiful man. Like, he really is. He just isn't right this instant.
He looks like he'd be in a Rockstar documentary talking about better days.
No, he's in amazing shape still. Like, he's still that. It's just he's trying to style himself like a dickhead. But anyway, it was fucking weird because I was like, this can only be a letdown. Because it's like sometimes you get amazing wrestlers together and it's like they just don't have the chemistry. They don't perform. The Rock and Undertaker never had a good match together. Their energy just did not gel. Like, it just didn't work. And I was really worried that that's what this would be. And this is the best wrestling match I have seen in years. Like, I'd say maybe in 5 years or something like that. Like,
wow.
Like, not since Dominion 2017 have I seen the likes of this. It was fucking phenomenal. And it was kind of like this story of basically, like, Bryan Danielson is like free. He's out from like corporate wrestling America, and now he can actually go fight someone who is as good as he is, and that's Kenny. But then Kenny right now, he's like the AEW champion. He's on top of his game. He's the god of pro wrestling. That is his name. And he beat the holy fuck out of Bryan Danielson. It was disgusting. Like, there was a couple of spots in this where like it had me being like, did something go wrong there? Like, the human body should not go that way. And oh my god, there was this section where Kenny went up to the top of the ramp and just ran, leaped into the air and smashed his entire fucking knee through Bryan Daniels' face. And it was one of those moments where I leapt back and I was like, oh, like full on covered my mouth. It was just horrible. But then, like, through all this, like, Kenny is just like punishing him, and he can't like break like Bryan Danielson. And it's like at the point where I'm like, is he actually okay? Like, is this okay? Is this actually working? Or is he actually fucked up? But the fact that it had me that believing it means the story was that convincing, you know? And then slowly, like, Bryan Danielson, he has to raise his level because he's never had to fight at this level before. He could beat everyone in WWE. Now he's in the fucking real killer horror zone with fucking machines like Kenny Omega. And he's doing it, and he keeps rising up, and like, he eventually gets to the point where he's just like fighting on even footing with this fucking god of pro wrestling, and it's just beautiful. It is incredible, and it's like the level of like, it's not just that these two are good wrestlers, it's like there had to be a level of chemistry and a level of synchronicity that even they wouldn't have known was there until they got into the ring together, and it was phenomenal to see. It was just brilliant. And the entire thing ends in a 30-minute draw. And a lot of people were disappointed in that. It was a timeout draw. A lot of people were disappointed in that, but to me, that was the perfect way to end it. Because for one, this wasn't a conclusion. This was the beginning of something bigger, like something else. I don't know that they could ever top this match. Like, realistically, I just don't know that you can do that. I think this was and just this incredible moment that happened, and I don't know that chasing it is going to lead to anything, even though I can't wait to see them wrestle again. But the big like takeaway from it for me is like, this was given away on free television. Like this wasn't a pay-per-view. This was a regular like Wednesday night episode of wrestling, and it was one of the best things I've ever seen. And I think it is so impossible to watch this match and to like, you know, take into account, you know, Kenny Omega or CM Punk and like how Britt Baker's doing in the like AEW and what she's done for the women's division, and not feel like this really is like a new fucking era for wrestling. Like this is something new and different and crazy, and like this is just off the back of AEW beating Raw in the ratings twice in a row, which is just so insane. And I'm really happy, you know, I'm really it has never been this exciting to be into wrestling, and I'm so glad. That's Wrestle Talk.
How's Cheryl the Bee Queen doing? Does she still have her belt?
Had to dig there, Niamh, and I think I've seen what you've done. Okay, look, real quick, Riverdale. Cheryl has magical powers now.
Yeah, what's that about?
There's no ambiguity with it. She just has. I had a line in the Riverdale video that I cut where I was like, at one point, Cheryl casts a magic spell and no one ever speaks of it again. And I'm so glad I took that line out, because in last night's episode, or the last episode, woman just has magical powers. She freed Archie from the underground mine collapse that was the result of Hiram Lodge's bomb.
Did they ever explain how those two twin babies floated in the air? You know,
never.
Wow.
They lead you to believe it's a hallucination, and I think that hallucination is meant to tie into the season 3 simultaneous seizures that all the women get. That was explained by Cheryl's father's twin brother depositing his jingle jangle waste in the Riverdale reservoir. Jingle jangle is a drug in Riverdale. It's what makes you a zombie.
Not to be confused with Fizzle Rocks.
Very different drug, Brian. But yes, you're correct.
So
Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. You can ask more Riverdale questions.
Like, is heroin in Riverdale?
No.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to like.
Brian.
I'd love if someone was just like, got a new drug in town. It's called heroin.
That would have been something they would have done in like season 1 and 2, when they would actually try and tackle weighty topics. There's an episode where they try and talk about sexual assault, and all I'll say is they fucking fail, and I did not want to write a paragraph about that, let me tell you.
Way to go, writers.
Yeah. This is wrestling, everybody.
I have one more thing to talk about.
Hit us.
So I was at a big country wedding last weekend, and that involved 4 full days of just sitting around.
4 days?
Yeah. About approximately 4 days.
I get pissed when I have to go to like a wedding for an afternoon. And then like...
I'm not even happy for the bride and groom.
And then my mom will fucking text me and be like, you have to get a gift from the guest register. And it's like, I'm already giving up a fucking afternoon. Sorry, Ryan, go on.
So there was parts where I was required to stand and sit and all that at the wedding reception and before and after, but there was a lot of waiting around, and the TV was on in the background. And I'm not sure if you've been in a situation before or recently where the TV is on and you don't change the channel and you just end up watching something that you didn't know catches your eye.
Sure.
I'd like to talk about the BBC TV series called Father Brown.
Father Brown?
Father Brown. It is a period drama made by the BBC. Now, the BBC makes a lot of period dramas.
Yeah, like Downtown Abbey.
That's ITV.
Damn it. How do you know that?
Yeah, it's Gentleman Jack, BBC.
It is, and I would consider that A tier.
Yeah, that is definitely A tier.
Father Brown, I'd say that's C tier, unfortunately. And this is what they show very early in the morning. And maybe it has its Sunday premiere, but the reruns, they're shown during like morning, daytime, 11 a.m. slots.
Is it a priest who solves crimes?
Yes, it is a Roman Catholic priest.
Holy shit.
It's a Roman Catholic priest called Father Brown, takes place in the 1950s, but he's in the UK. But the thing is, because he's a Catholic priest, he's a bit of an outsider in the village. And so this isn't like Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote, where she travels from town to town. This is the same fucking town. And there's a fucking new murder or a new plot. Something happens every episode. And there's like 100 of these. And it stars a very old man who's a priest, and he plays himself aloof, and he doesn't really do his priestly duties because he's too busy solving murders.
Better use of his time, to be honest.
Yeah. And he has a cane, and he's quite a heavy man, and he eats a lot, and people mistake him for being someone who's quite silly. He is not. He is razor fucking sharp.
Is this a comedy, Brian?
No. But I was smiling the entire time, let me tell you. So he has, like, I guess, a Mrs. Doyle, in that he has an Irish woman who was emigrated to the UK, and she's, like, I guess, the caretaker of the church, and, you know, makes sure he has his dinner and stuff like that. And so she's part of the mystery solving team. There's also in later seasons, and this is where like it got real confusing for me, because apparently the episode I watched was from one of the later seasons, because there's a lore to this show, and there was a young woman in it named Bunty, and her thing was that she is also new to the town, but she's a gymnast, and she is a kind of foil to the other woman because they don't agree with each other, because she's like a woman of the future, but then the older woman's like a woman of the past. But Father Brown has to keep both of them from fighting each other.
I couldn't do that.
It's like Carmilla and Mecha Niamh all over again.
It is. And in the episode I watched, they had gone into this person's manor because there was a rumor that he had fascist material. And they went up to the attic and they found it, and he was like, "That's just there because it was in my father's will to honor it. I don't believe in this material, but I have to preserve it." But Father Brown outsmarts him by the end when he's about to be like knocked off the top of a building. Father Brown talks him down, gets out of that conundrum.
Father Brown should have let him do it.
Fucking do it, man. Fucking pull the trigger. I'm a fucking priest. What are you gonna do?
But Father Brown does not sound like that. Father Brown's like, "Hello, I'm Father Brown."
Who is this for, Brian? Is this for Catholics living in the UK? Or, is it for like a spicely potted Protestant that wants to see a bold Catholic?
I think it's for old ladies that just want something like real spicy.
Yeah, this is old lady age.
Oh yeah. So I'm watching it. So now me and I'll probably ask my granny next time, like, "Hey, you and me, Father Brown, am I right?" And like, He keeps doing the jobs that the actual police and detectives can't do, and then like there'll be a point where he has to walk away because he's a priest and he's very old and doddery, and he has a cane. He can't like physically attack anyone, even though he did fight in World War I, and he has war flashbacks occasionally.
Brian, I feel like you absorbed a lot about this show.
Yeah, I only watched 2 episodes, but like it seems like
you got it.
It really explains itself to you, and I kind of
I guess shows like that really have to, don't they?
Yeah, I do kind of miss that about television, especially like easy watching television. And like I would not sit down and watch this like in any other situation. But
this feels like something I would watch like on my parents' floor just one afternoon because I was a kid and I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, because like I guess we all have seen Murder, She Wrote at some point in our lives, because like how could we not have avoided Murder, She Wrote?
I have actually never seen an episode.
Really?
John!
No.
Oh,
Did you see
so
like
fucking
Mrs.
good.
Bouquet?
No, I saw like Relic Hunter. Remember that?
Which is like fake Tomb Raider starring Tiara Carrera.
Yeah.
She's great.
She was fantastic in it.
She was in Wayne's World as well.
Wow. Okay.
Maximum Babage.
Yeah. Wow.
Tia Carrera. Where
I
are
don't
you?
think it's the same watching Maximum Babage versus like elderly people shuffle around.
Niamh, before this podcast, we literally had a conversation about hot elderly women.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying.
What are you
they're
trying
not.
to say?
I'm just saying, like,
You know, Niamh, you want to know the difference between me and Brian and you? We respect women.
Okay.
when you're given examples of TV, you just kind of like watch through osmosis, like just being alive in your parents' house. Like the Relic Hunter isn't really the same.
Look how
as, like,
fucking hot Father Brown looks.
Oh wow, that is a cast, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Oh, those look like a bunch of characters.
Okay, so you know how on Twitter I'll post a picture 2 days before the episode drops, and it's kind of cryptic. This week's episode, Father Brown. Mm-hmm. Because people need to know, like, this dude's got a fucking stare.
Oh, holy shit. He looks like the guy from I Think You Should Leave.
Wow.
He does.
That looks like the beginning of a sketch that never goes anywhere.
I'm trying to think of other examples, Niamh, and I am kind of failing, and you're right, they're all Babbage related.
Okay, so
the Jenny Jones show, I don't know.
There's a lot of Babbage on your TV.
I can't help it.
So the main actor in this is a guy called Mark Williams, and I'm reading here, apparently Father Brown is a remake of a show from the 70s.
Oh, what?
And that explains a lot of its kind of traditional aesthetic. Yeah. Because maybe it's someone who enjoyed Father Brown 40 years ago.
And
that still wants more.
I'm telling you, we got a hit on our hands.
People love nostalgia. That's why they want Father Brown back.
That's mad.
That's all I want to talk about on an Irish video game podcast.
I have a brief question. Sorry, do you want to say something?
Oh, go. I have a brief interjection as well, but you go first.
I got thinking about this during the week, and a part of our conversation just sparked it. How often have you guys been in basements?
Not often. We don't have them here.
Yeah, because
I'm
trying to think, have I ever been in one?
I think maybe like a pub, like one or something like that, an actual storage space for a place.
The only basements I've been to is I've been in one or two Georgian buildings that have a ground floor entrance, but then they have the stairs down to like what would be considered a basement, but it still has like windows. It's just the windows get light from above rather than...
They're usually flats now. Like,
yeah,
they're
are
not like a basement.
Yeah.
Like that's like I had a flat in one of those Georgian buildings, and like I was above the basement, but my neighbor was in the basement, so it was just like a fully fledged flat kind of thing. They just had a very small little window above the ground. Oh. You know, living and renting in Ireland.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we have attics more than we have basements.
Absolutely. And nobody has a swimming pool in their back garden.
Oh.
Like, why the fuck would you want...
Come on.
That's a waste.
What are you doing?
That's a waste of money. That shit. Yeah. Like, it fucking rains for free here. Like,
you know what someone would have if they had a swimming pool in their backyard? Notions.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of notions.
Yeah.
Like, how dare they?
How dare they do this to this town?
Our neighbours installed like a very small back garden, but they installed a jacuzzi in the whole space of it.
Oh my god.
Very notions.
Yeah, so many notions.
And I keep making very awkward eye contact with them.
If I was friendly with them before that, wouldn't speak to them after.
That's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this deep shame is playing to people. Okay. Sorry, Niamh, what did you want to say?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, is James Wan Catholic? Was like my brain thought, because his movies like end up like veering to Catholicism super quickly.
They do.
Even in Malignant, like it was super like not Catholic, and then all of a sudden they're like, what is the other name for this entity? And she's like, the devil. And then like someone says like, God bless you and stuff. And I was like, this went from no mention to a few mentions, but I just noticed his stuff has like this weird Catholic true line. And then I was like, James Wan Catholic ?
He could either be Catholic or deeply traumatized by Catholicism. I mean, same thing,
one
right?
And the same.
Yeah. So it goes.
Yeah. Maybe he went to a boarding school somewhere.
Mike
Flanagan definitely did.
Oh yeah. I'd say there's some somewhere in his upbringing it hits.
You know what hits somewhere in our upbringing? Strategy talk.
Wow, that really doesn't make sense at all, John, but thanks.
You know, Brian, a lot of the times I just move my mouth and words come out, and that's how I've gotten here.
It's like, you know how sometimes we have dinner, but you know what? Strategy talk. Because that's something relatable and completely irrelevant. Isn't that right, John?
You know what else is irrelevant?
Strategy talk.
Oh, it's not where I was going, but that's pretty good. Yeah.
You know what's irrelevant?
What's that, Brian?
You.
That's kind of true, isn't it?
Strategy talk. We're here now. I said it. So
there's one big game. Maybe we leave that till last.
Sure.
We are going to talk about Deathloop, but we'll leave it till last. Because that way you have to listen to the episodes.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to hear thoughts and opinions on Deathloop.
Or, you can just check the timestamp if you want to just skip straight to Deathloop.
We're not doing that.
We're not going to give you a fucking timestamp.
You got to listen.
You're going to fucking sit there and you're going to listen to every goddamn thing we have to say. Oh.
will I talk about an older game first, just to get everyone really kind of just bored?
Yeah, Brian, why don't you tell us about Ganbare Goemon?
Okay.
Or Metroid Fusion, whichever you want, buddy.
I'll talk about Ganbare Goemon first.
Okay. This is the fourth one.
This is the fourth Ganbare Goemon, Go For It Goemon, on the Super Nintendo. I'm playing a fan translation that was done a year ago, approximately. And the full title of this game is Ganbare Goemon 4, The Glittering Journey, The Reason I Became a Dancer.
God, I love these games.
That's a really good subtitle.
And you know what? The subtitle, The Reason I Became a Dancer, they actually explain the reason why a certain character becomes a dancer.
Because it would nearly be the norm if they didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, like that is the final punchline after you beat the boss.
Aww.
And it's played over the end credits where... do you mind if I spoil why someone becomes a dancer?
I'm sure I've watched Let's Plays of this at some point.
Okay, well I guess the gist of it is Goemon and friends are in feudal Japan doing their stuff. Goemon's giant robot friend, Impact, turns out to be sentient and an alien and was pretending to be a pilotable mech, but was actually a mech that allowed himself to be controlled. But
Jesus Christ.
But this time asks Goemon and friends to go into outer space to help his home planet. Long story short, you beat the bad guy who's called Seppukumaru, who's also in the Goemon TV series, which I've seen, and he has 4 evil radishes, or I guess turnips. But at the very end, you have to play a game of hot potato with a planet, where the main villain throws a planet at you, and then Goemon Impact grabs the planet and throws it back.
Wait, is Goemon Impact huge that he can...
He's like a 100-foot tall mech.
Why does... Okay.
And because this game does not have boss battles, it has mini games.
Who is that?
That is
Seppukumaru.
Yeah.
I like him.
And
I like
he's
his
in-
abs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cut up because he commits seppuku.
Yeah, he does. Okay, because his whole thing... Because his whole thing is that he's the world's greatest sportsman, but the only sport he's never really completed in is seppuku.
Love.
No, it's seppuku.
Okay.
And Goemon's like, dude, that's not a sport. And he's like, it's not. And then he's like, I've been wasting my whole life.
Oh my god.
Because that's the humor Ganbare Goemon. But I guess
this sounds like the greatest story ever told, Brian.
Oh, it is. Because at the very end of this game, Goemon Impact has to defeat Seppukumaru by making sure his beam doesn't destroy Earth. And in doing so, Goemon Impact has a giant afro afterwards. And they're like, whoa, Impact, you look different. Look at your hair. And he's like, yes. And then it cuts to him dancing, and it's like a Saturday Night Fever. Him doing like John Travolta dancing with a big fucking afro. And then it says... The reason I became a dancer. And it fucking pays off.
That's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant.
This is a very good Goemon game, but I think the third one is still my favorite.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to the original gameplay of the first and second game. Doesn't have the kind of Metroidvania style levels anymore. And it takes about 2 or 3 hours to beat. Whereas the third one takes about 6 hours to beat. But considering Konami made these games every year from like 1991 to 1994, it's kind of ridiculous.
What fucking weird games.
Yeah.
They're so good. I keep waiting for Fangamer to release that plush.
Yes.
I haven't.
Is that the last one?
The next mainline Goemon game is Goemon 64, essentially.
Okay.
Have you played that, Brian?
I have it ready to go for Christmas.
Oh, I like. I'm sure that game's aged, but that game is so charming. Like, they didn't lose the Goemon in it.
I have a whole setup ready to go. I bought a wireless N64 controller.
Nice.
Like a good one. Because that's to do with the news later. And I have a HDMI output ready for my N64. It's going to be a very special
Sounds
Christmas.
like you got a plan.
Yeah.
Nice. Speaking of Metroidvanias, I have finally started playing Castlevania Aria of Sorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many blank of blank Castlevanias. I always get them mixed up.
This is the third Castlevania game on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
They came out in 2001, 2002, and 2003.
Yeah, and like I would describe myself as a kind of Castlevania fan. It's like I like oh my god, my brain is so full of Castlevania and Bloodstained. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite Castlevania game I played up to that point, and this I would say I liked it. I maybe perhaps did not like it as much as a lot of people do, but I just don't see it as one of the best games ever, but I still think it's really cool. I think we should just call them Metroid games, or the updated term, corner scratchers. And this is another corner scratcher game.
John, I'm gonna scratch your corner so hard if you keep saying that.
It is a corner because you're making your way around the map and you're like, well, I gotta check out this corner. It's a corner scratcher, Brian.
So Castlevania Aria of Sorrow takes place in the future. In 2035, I think.
You play as Soma Cruz, arguably the dreamiest Castlevania protagonist.
Soma Cruz is so fucking cool.
Yeah, he's so cool.
And he's in Japan and he goes to a shrine, but it opens up a portal to Transylvania.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm in Dracula's castle.
And what I would say about this game is that I think visually it doesn't have like as strong a presentation as Symphony of the Night, and I think because of that and like the music in this game is really good.
I love the music so much.
I just don't think it's as good as Symphony of the Night. And
no, it's not. Like,
because of those two reasons, I don't think the atmosphere in this game is as strong as Symphony of the Night. And other than that, I think this is like a much better game. I think this game is fucking awesome. It's so much fun to play.
Yeah.
What I really love about it is like with Symphony of the Night, they had all this stuff like you had powers, but you had to do like Street Fighter motions to use them, and I just could never get them working right.
There was so much wave dashing.
Yeah. But with this, it's like you kill enemies and then you have a chance of like absorbing their powers, and you're getting like dozens of powers.
Yeah.
Like you have so many of them, and the bosses are so weird and creative, like the headhunter.
Yeah.
It's like you go into this room and you're just all of a sudden fighting this gigantic Victorian woman, and she's really tall and scary, but then her head comes off and her shelf, which is full of heads, from that an old man's head floats out and lands on her, and then you kill that head, and then an alien's head floats on her. It's fucked up. But not really too much to say about it. It's like one of those games where like I was playing it and I was like, oh, this is as good as everyone says it is. You know, I just think it's really great. The visuals are like a little sparse because this was a Game Boy Advance game.
Like Soma is tiny.
He's really tiny.
It's just like a little stick man with a coat.
Yeah, but I still think despite that, they get a lot of personality, like out of all the villains and stuff. Like some of the enemies are so fucking goofy. Like there's a skeleton waiter who throws pork chops at you. There's a maid who just does karate.
Did you get that power up where you shoot out cats?
I love that one, and it's so good.
There's this one where you summon like big black cats, and they're like half the size of a human, so like they're like fucking panthers coming out. And
it like you do summon them, but it does look like he's just taking them out from his coat and fucking them across the room.
And they go, meow.
Yep. And then later you can do that with crows.
Yes.
And it's just a great game. Like I there's a lot of really, really good stuff out at the moment, and like I'm in real Game of the Year mode. I am trying to play everything, or at least give everything a fair shot. And like it's stressful. I can't stop playing this game. I love it. I think it is. I understand why people love these games so much. Is it the prequel to this? Harmony of Dissonance? The other Game Boy Advance Castlevania game.
Okay, so there's 3 of them, and I think Harmony of Dissonance was the previous one.
Yeah.
And these 2 games came together on a double pack, which was pretty neat because I own that. I do like Harmony is kind of like, it's like Symphony of the Night in terms of like the story beat for beat, and a lot of the kind of like boss fights are sort of the same.
Right.
The first one, which was Circle of the Moon, I don't think that was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance, but it came out the summer of the Game Boy Advance.
I think I remember that, yeah.
And Circle of the Moon is okay, but it has this stupid mechanic that makes sense in a roguelike, but doesn't make sense in a savable map game, where you still like inherit like different abilities, but it's randomized, so you can have a good run or a shit run.
Right.
But that doesn't really make sense in a non-random game.
And that's not the case in Aria of Sorrow.
No, at that point, it's definitely the most refined of them.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I'm having a really, really good time with it. Niamh, is this the Yoko Taro card game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I have been so curious about this.
I saw this and I went, do you know what? Niamh will take care of this.
It's true. It was the hypest drop from the Nintendo
This game.
Direct. Yeah. This
Oh my
for me,
God.
I was just like, oh yeah.
Not Kirby?
Cards. Nah.
Niamh, the Kirby game looked great.
Come on, yeah, he's got his little wasteland.
I felt happy for you.
Thanks,
I was
Niamh.
just like, Bryan is screaming somewhere.
I got in a lot of trouble.
Listen to
It's a
the
wedding,
title
Bryan.
of this game. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars.
Fantastic.
Not the Isle of Dragon Roars, just the Isle Dragon Roars.
That's not what he said, Niamh.
Yeah. So this is like a card game, and the demo that they gave you for it comes out, I think, October 28th, so it's coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
But the demo they give you is a prequel to the story, so it's kind of its standalone,
Cool.
alone little bit, which I think is cool. And it is all cards. Like every single aspect is cards. Your character art is on cards, and you have 3 characters of the White Order, like a tank, a magic user, and kind of another magic user. And the entire world map is just cards that are flipped, and as you walk, they flip over by 3 cards, and you can see if like the terrain is like if it has trees on it, it's like a wooded terrain and stuff like that. But the entire towns are just cards that flip. The inventory screen is a card. Just everything you can equip are cards. The armory is a card.
She's sounding a little unhinged now.
It's just everything is cards. Like my girlfriend's like, oh, I can't wait to see it, and I was like, it's literally cards, and she's like, oh, it is. It's just cards. So it has a very distinctive visual look to it that I appreciate, because a lot of the artwork is really nice on it, and it is narrated by one single voice. And I put it on, and sometimes I play games like this and I like to listen to a podcast, but the narrator was just like, sound design is very important to this game, so you should turn up your volume. And I was like, okay game. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So it has been narrated, so every kind of conversation someone has, this narration voice fills you in. There has been no character voices.
What's the
so
voice
far.
like?
It's good. It's like a good narrator man voice, kind of old, commanding, easy to listen to. It's a good. And the sound design is good. I'm curious to see what it's about, because it looks like they could have a lot of room for cool storytelling within it, because there is some... It's literally cards humor. Like, if you try to go too far in the map, he was just like, I haven't wrote those cards yet. And when you have a battle, they take a dice rolling tray and they put it on top of your cards on the map, and you have some dice. And
I do really like that the aesthetic of the game, because in the trailer it is practical pieces of paper on a table.
Yep. Here's a wooden tray that you roll in. You can play a card game within this game, which is quite fun.
Oh, this is fun, but I'm gonna need to sit on that.
I really like this card game. I was playing a lot of it. It's basically a matching game.
You're talking about the card game within the card game.
The card game within the card game, really fun. I think you could just play a lot of that. It's like a Final Fantasy VIII card game, or Gwent or something.
Triple triads on our hands here.
Yeah, it's a match game, but you can also have different cards of spells, and you can, just randomness of it. Pretty fun. I'm curious to see if this will get Yoko Taro-y. The story I've played so far is pretty basic, except for a fisherman I was going to meet was extremely sexy and wearing a very small little codpiece in the illustration. And I was just like, well, that's certainly the most unusual thing that has happened. Let's see what's in store, because if they drew that card, I'm sure they've drawn others.
Do you think, like, it's not going to break the fourth wall, but do you think it's going to, like, scale out further and reveal something?
I feel like it could. Like, I feel like they're willing to have fun with the fact that this is all playing out in a very analog way.
I mean,
What is a card game?
It's Yoko Taro, so, like, I wouldn't be surprised if at, like, halfway through this game it pulls out and it's two kids playing the card game and then they have to go to school and now that's the story.
And at one point you have to get all your cards and put them through a paper shredder. He'd love that.
The artwork on everything is lovely. Like, the monster design on the monster cards are cool. You have, like, different sword cards for your equipment. You have spell cards. Like, if you like that illustration style, there is a lot of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward. This is something I will definitely pick up.
I'm gonna check out the demo. I'm having so much fucking trouble just playing everything at the moment. I feel like there's so much shit out. And so, like, we still have Metroid Dread and Shin Megami Tensei 5 to come out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
But I guess there are good games happening, and that's fun. That sounds really cool. I played some Scarlet Hollow.
What this?
Never heard of it.
Niamh, you have sent me this game.
Oh! Yes.
So this is I'm gonna say, like, somewhere between, like, a visual novel and point and click adventure. A lot of you Xing through character artwork, and the character artwork I did not check, but I think this is by some well-known illustrator because it's beautiful. It's really, really gorgeous artwork and not what you'd expect from, like, a visual novel artwork, not anime-y in the slightest. Feels much more like a kind of, like, indie, like, Western comic, and it works beautifully. Like, there's some characters in this where I'm like, I want to get to know what you're about because you look amazing. And it starts off and you're on a bus, and the first thing that happens is, like, you look over and there's this guy sitting beside you, and it's such a perfect drawing of, I would not want to sit next to this dude on a bus. Like, if this guy started talking to me, I'd be so annoyed. Like, that was the feeling I was filled with. And then I was like, oh no, I think he kind of looks like me. And I feel like that adds up. And, but then, like, you get to town, and basically the story that you put together so far is that your aunt has died and your mother has sent you to assist your cousin who fucking hates you with the funeral. And she's so passive aggressive and weird. And there's this one drawing where she gives you, like, a fake smile, and it's such a good fake smile. Like, you can just see her seething, and it's great. Like, I think the artwork really does a lot. I'm not sure how, like, flexible the story is, because right now it feels like I'm choosing my own path through this, but I think that good writing can sometimes, like, make you feel like that's happening when it's not happening, so I don't really know how, like, strong that is. But basically, I met up with a girl and we went into the surrounding woods and we found some spooky goings on there, and we're trying to figure out what that was about at the moment. This is the kind of horror for people who want to dip their toe into horror. Like, you know, some people are just, like, really super sensitive to horror, just, like, very nervous to it. This is the kind of game where I think nearly anyone could play it and you could be fine. Like, there's nearly a kind of young adult slant to it, you know what I mean? And, like, not it doesn't feel like a game designed for kids or anything. It just, I think, like, this is more Buffy than, like, something that's going to shred your brain.
Dude, I did not send you this game.
Really? What game did you send me?
I sent you another black and white horror game that came out in June.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Okay, because
more games for John.
I saw this on I think a Kotaku list as well, and I was like, that's the game that Niamh sent me.
No.
Sorry about that, Niamh. But this game, this is a cute horror game, and I am having a good time with it. Like, I wouldn't say it's, like, blowing my mind or anything, but it looks great, the music's great, and it's got a great atmosphere. And it's kind of like, this is a nice Sunday afternoon slice of horror. Now I gotta go play that other game. They keep mounting up.
I know. The one I recommended was Critters for Sale, and it's, like, less of a game and more of, like, an art project kind of thing. I don't know.
Fuck it, I'll play it. I got a spooky stuff list to write, Niamh.
He does.
Bryan.
Yeah.
Metroid Fusion. Making its third appearance on the Let's Fight a Boss cast.
Excellent. In anticipation of Metroid Dread, I've been replaying the previous 4 Metroid games. I decided to skip the first 2 because I played them last year. So I played through Super Metroid in the spring, and it's fine. It's a great game, but it has aged, unfortunately. Metroid Fusion, which is one of my favorite games ever made. It's been a couple of years since I played it. I was kind of worried going in. Was it going to show its age? Game's tight as fuck. Still.
Nice.
Still going. The plan was to play this over a couple weekends or a couple different sessions. So I played the first kind of opening act of it on a Saturday night, like around 1 a.m. And then on Sunday, I ended up beating the whole thing.
Wow.
In 2 hours.
Because you just know it that well.
There's this one part of the game where you can get really, like, stuck. And it's this one section of the game where, okay, so you're Samus and you're on this, like, weird space zoo with alien animals. And each section of the space station has a different, like, biosphere, I guess, or, like a different, like, element to it. So I'm in the aquatic area. And when you're in the aquatic area, it's very easy to get lost because you need to go off the beaten track, and the only way you know to do it is because the camera is meant to kind of adjust slightly to tell you look upwards and go there. And sometimes the game does it and sometimes it doesn't, but you either have to remember to do it or have that click, or else you brute force and you have to read a guide. But fortunately for me, that bit worked out. That's like the only awkward bit of the game I find. But yeah, still got it. I love that game. And at the end, she says, fuck you to the government. And she's a rogue bounty hunter. And that sets up the beginning of Metroid Dread, where she's a wanted criminal now. And she's on, and I can't wait to see what happens next. But it has some really, really nice portrait art in this game that Nintendo, in their pre-release of Metroid Dread, have actually published again, but in high res.
Oh, cool.
So it's really cool that they have this artwork like in their archives, and it was compressed for the Game Boy Advance, but the original artwork was either, or well, it feels like original, or maybe it was redrawn, but it's cool to see it in HD. Samus in her fusion suit, which is kind of a very like aquatic amphibian style suit that's very, very different to...
Yeah, it's way less bulky.
Yeah, it's way less... Yeah, and it's more kind of like a wetsuit, I guess. And then it's cool that they still reuse the classic Samus design, because her Varia suit has been like taken over by a parasitic zombie that hunts her, and there's multiple versions of it. But all of those are very much staged events that you know how to kind of navigate through. It's not like, I guess, a more like contemporary game where they have the complex AI. It's nothing like that, unfortunately. But the game does a very good job at kind of using its smoke and mirrors effectively to convince you that there's a lot more to it.
I have a question about Samus.
Yes.
So you know the way like Master Chief is kind of like a giant baby?
Yes.
Like emotionally, and she's just like a baby murder machine.
Yeah.
Is that Samus's deal? Did she have a nice childhood? Is she a child super soldier as well?
No,
like,
she had a really
raised
bad...
by wise aliens.
When she was a child, her space station was attacked, or maybe it was like her spaceship was attacked by space pirates in Ridley, and her parents were killed, and then she was raised by like an ancient alien race called the Chozo.
Oh.
And they gave her suit, so she's wearing like ancient alien technology. And so she's a soldier at the beginning, that she's like a mercenary for hire, but she just dresses in like a weird outfit compared to others. And people just kind of know like, oh, that's Samus, that's what she wears.
That's Samus. Her dad is the big alien.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's kind of an outsider. She doesn't really care much for the human race. She really likes the Chozo, but they're kind of like forgotten to time now. And she's very much kind of going, she's like, her thing is she likes going to planets out in the middle of nowhere and figuring out what's going on there.
It's an honest living.
Yeah.
There's other games that aren't part of the main line where they try to make her way more maternal than she needs to be. Those are fucking cringe. Less of that. But it seems
I can't believe Ninja Theory or Team Ninja would fuck up a game about a woman.
Who knew?
Who knew? I mean, how?
But any of the stuff with Metroid Dread and any of the interviews with the Spanish studio that are making it, they've been like, no, we know what works for Samus and we know what doesn't work, and rest assured, we're making a game that we would like to see.
The Dread seems awesome. I was reading some of the impressions of the first hour. Sounds rad.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what a Metroidvania or a what did you call it?
A corner scratcher.
Yeah,
that's not what I call it. That's just an internet. That's a term on the internet that's catching fire.
Search action is the correct term.
That doesn't even make sense.
You search and
how do you search action? It's a corner scratcher, Brian.
I'm just not going to talk.
Okay, I think that's best for everyone. Brian, that sounds great.
He's like, does it?
Guys, I've been playing Lost Judgment.
Okay, third time's a charm, John.
Third time's a charm. So I think the most heat I have ever gotten on this podcast is for my opinions on particularly Yakuza 7 and just my general belief that the Team Yakuza have been on a downward slide since 6 finished. 6 is great. Everything after that. And so I do want to try and phrase this a little more carefully, because I'm genuinely not I don't actually want to piss people off or anything, and I get that people do take my opinion seriously.
The last time you called it a stupid game for stupid babies.
And the last time, I may have said a few things that went a little overboard. So I guess to start off with this, I'd say Lost Judgment is another fucking shitty game from Team Yakuza.
Is it?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm watching Rebecca play it, and it seems like more of the same. She was doing a bit where you had to climb a bunch of ledges to get in through a vent or something.
Yeah, I did that bit.
And the controls were awkward as fuck.
I have played other games with very similar controls to that bit.
Yeah, because I was watching and I was like, oh, this is like a shit Uncharted.
Yeah. Or just an Uncharted.
It's got a really cool opening title screen with Tack, and there's a little kitten staring at him.
Yeah, that's awesome. But the reasons I disliked Judgment and the reasons I disliked Yakuza 7 were very, very different. And with Judgment, I just felt like that game felt half finished. I felt so many of the activities in it felt really shitty. I thought that tailing people felt bad. I thought the fighting felt awful. I thought climbing into places felt really not great. And I actually did like Tack, and I the story was okay from what I played, but I only got 5 or 6 hours in, and I was like, you know what, there's so much other shit I want to play more than this, and so I dropped it. And the biggest thing with this game is it feels way more polished, especially in the combat. Combat feels good again. There's a really nice flow to it. A lot of the animations feel really chunky and you're really, really hitting someone. I also think that there's a lot more mechanics gone into basically sneaking or into buildings and stuff like that, and tailing someone. There's a lot of shit now where there's a lot of little things you can do, take out your phone. It's you're following someone and you can take out your phone, and that drains your just chillin' meter, because you can look like you're just chilling for a second, but if you do that too much, the person you're tailing is going to be wait a minute. And everything just feels better. This feels much more the kind of the reasons I like Yakuza. And even in the cutscenes, a lot of the cutscenes in Judgment were... Yakuza does this weird thing where it has this basically tiered cutscene system. So for regular old side quests, you're just going to get text boxes. Then for slightly more important cutscenes, you're going to get in-engine cutscenes. And then for the big dramatic cutscenes is when you're going to actually get rendered cutscenes that have depth of field and special lighting, and maybe they switch out some of the models for the high fidelity models. And I love Yakuza for those moments. And Lost Judgment on PS5 really feels like it kind of bridges that gap really well, because it just always looks great. Everything always runs at 60 frames per second. It feels it feels like an expensive game and it feels like a good game, and I don't think Yakuza's felt like that for a couple of games, and it's really cool to see that back. I'm only like maybe 2 hours into it, and so I really don't think I can really speak to like the overall quality. Maybe I'll sour on it or maybe I won't, but so far I had problems with the original Judgment, and it feels like they've kind of alleviated a lot of them, and that feels good.
Okay. Your favorite game ever made?
10 out of 10, game of the year.
Did they make his his flat ass less flat?
I want some chub on that rump.
I don't know, because I'm always looking at his partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That dude has some fucking titties.
I love his torso. The shirts he wears.
Oh.
Is this Kaito? Is that his
Yep.
name?
Yeah.
So.
He's a fun guy.
You know what he is? Dreamboat.
That dude's
seems
a
cool.
steak dinner.
Yeah. Real quick, the more Fata Morgana update. Take it out of the anime zone. It's okay. It's not that. It's fine. There was a moment there where things got a little spooky. That was just a spooky moment. False alarm.
You are off that list.
You were off that list. Might have to put it back into the anime zone depending on where it goes, but so far it's a very creepy, spooky Victorian time. My god, there's a lot of text in that game, but thankfully it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing more. Brian, we've both been playing Eastward.
Yes, I am approximately 10 hours into Eastward. Mm-hmm. You're about 1 or 2 hours.
I am 2 hours in. I after 2 hours I hit the title screen.
Yes, you play a prologue, and the prologue really sets itself.
It sure goes.
Yes, this is an independent game that's out on the PC and Switch, and I can't remember the names of the devs who make this.
This looks like Pixel Last of Us.
Yes. Okay, it's made by Pixpill, and it's a top-down 2D sprite game. Playstyle is somewhere between the Mother series, kind of visually and in terms of its kind of dialogue, and then the gameplay would be sort of like real-time Legend of Zelda Hyper
It's a
Light
Zelda
Drifter.
M-up.
Yeah, it's a Zelda M-up.
Zelda M-up, Brian.
M-up.
That's the correct name of the genre.
Okay. Like an action game. It is very much The Last of Us in that you have two protagonists. You have Sam, the little girl, and then you have John, the proxy dad, and they are in a post-apocalyptic future where a new civilization has sort of kind of established itself, and they are making their way eastward. Hence the name.
Oh.
Some stuff goes down in the village. They're both kind of treated as outsiders. They upset the villagers. They get cast out. But
that mayor, he's a piece of work.
That mayor is so mean to them. They get cast out of the village, but at the same time, they take that as an opportunity to leave the village because they both want to leave the village, or at least Sam, who does all the talking, because John, the dad character, does not talk at all. And his whole thing is that he's a stoic, sad old man with a frying pan. And then,
you know there's going to be like this really emotional moment where he finally says his first words, and it'll either be like, I love you, or I'm sorry, or I wasn't good enough, or something like self-deprecating, or like extremely like oh, he broke just to say that.
I bet the devs had a really, really impactful meeting about that, and you just dragged it out like a trope.
Yeah.
Because it is.
You know, making video games is hard, Niamh.
It is.
Yeah. I think this game visually is a 10 out of 10. It looks absolutely amazing.
Oh, like I feel like the shit they do with like, you know, stuff that has been done before, but like the wreckage of that town and how everyone has like embedded like either a train car or a bus in like the stone of the walls and like have built their little home in those stones.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that shit, but it's real nice here.
Yeah. As well, it does a neat trick where it does a lot of pixel animation with a like tilt to it. So characters kind of rock on a rotation, which is really nice. But they'll kind of swap between like, you know, a zigzag on the look of it. It's kind of hard to describe. Like it really feels like an SNK Metal Slug kind of game sometimes in places.
Yeah, like the animation and the fidelity is just that high.
Yeah, and the music is super good as well. There's a huge soundtrack, and it kind of rotates through a lot of like different jingles for different characters. The gameplay is good. You know when you're meant to be kind of fighting because you'll enter an area and it's essentially like a dungeon, but it's, you know, an outdoor environment, or it might be like a network of tunnels, but you're like, okay, this is a dungeon because John now has his frying pan out, and when he's not in that stance, he just has his hands in his pockets, so you know that shit's going down. It has a fun cooking mechanic similar to Breath of the Wild, where you get different ingredients and you try different combinations to make different kinds of food, because the game does get very, very tough later on. It's like Mother 3 closest, in the sense that it's an incredibly linear game and it's chapter based, and there are multiple points of no return. It's not a game where you can go back and look at an area that you missed, because once you've missed it, that's it, you're not going back. So if you want to see everything in this game, you have to just like make sure to not like cue a cutscene that advances the game without your permission.
Don't cross that invisible line.
Yeah. My one gripe with it is that the characters in this game talk so fucking much. Yeah. They won't shut the fuck up.
About what?
About anything. And the dialogue is cute and charming. It's not as introspective as I thought it'd be, but I'm sure it will later. And like the characters do have a personality, but it's got like that Persona 5 syndrome, where characters are talking about the same thing over and over, just using different words and a different sentence structure. But the point that they're trying to make, they make it 5 times.
Yeah, like I have found that a lot. Like it's kind of already at the point for me where I don't want to talk to the NPCs because I spend so much time listening to talking. Yeah. And like I don't think the dialogue's bad. Like I don't think it's amazing or anything, but like it's not bad.
But
like,
it keeps sandbagging you with the like, because you want to get on with the game.
Yeah, and it's tricky. I really want to like this game because the look of it is just so beautiful. Like I love how it looks. But I feel like my biggest problem with it, and like maybe you can shed some light on this, Bryan, is like I can feel that these guys love Mother 3. I can feel that these guys love Earthbound and Undertale and Last of Us and Legend of Zelda and all this kind of stuff. I can feel like these guys have done an incredible job making a homage to those games. But my concern is that like I'm going to get to the end of this game, and apparently it's like a 35-hour game. And I don't know that they'll have done or said anything unique or their own.
No,
that's bumming me out.
It really feels like it's just borrowing or relying on the Earthbound series and The Last of Us for its kind of emotional beats and relationship dynamics.
Yeah, because like I feel like, you know, especially with kind of like top-down pixel games, there's some wild shit that's come out in the last while. Like, you know, you think of stuff like Lisa the Painful, and like I know it's not top-down, but not everything has to be Lisa, not everything has to be that. But I'm kind of, for a game with such a strong atmosphere, look, and sound, I still find myself kind of being like, what's the identity of this game? Like, what is this game about? Like, what is it trying to say? And I just don't know that a really nicely made pixel game cuts it, you know?
There was one moment that kind of caught my attention where you go into a lab and they're growing humans.
That's interesting.
And I was like, here we fucking go. And they kind of show you that, and then you have to walk by it and then get to the next part of the game. And it seems like that's going to come back in a couple of different ways. And the main character, Sam, occasionally she'll split in two, and there's like a blue Sam and a red Sam.
Oh, she's totally a clone.
Yeah. Or she's some sort of like original clone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she's probably the protagonist and the antagonist. But like, I don't know, it really feels like, and because this game makes you fucking stop playing the game and read the dialogue and like taking the cutscenes are fine. It's just I wish you could like auto advance it, and like I've got the dialogue set to the fastest speed.
Yeah.
But what it does is it ends up showing you its hand, and so you just start kind of spoiling the game by guessing what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Because
it's not holding your attention.
It's nearly like a difficult game to talk about because there's like the ingredients are great.
Yeah.
Like they're so good. Like so much talent went into this game, but I just question like I don't know, what's like the heart of it, you know? Like, why does this game exist?
Yeah. I don't know, like, to me it feels like you're having like the most amazing dinner ever, but you're sitting across from someone who's kind of being annoying and they won't shut up. And like occasionally they'll say something and you're like, no, yeah, you're right. But then they'll just sort of like backpedal and annoy you again.
Yeah. I really want to like it. Like, I'd love if we got to the end of this game, we're like, whoa, there's some fucking shit here, but like, I'm not sure I have the confidence that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to try and beat this game. I'm determined to play it now because I'm in. And at the moment I'm in Chapter 3 and I've been on Chapter 3 for 5 hours. I think if anybody who has played this game and has gotten to Chapter 3, they know what I'm talking about. It's just, this game really doesn't want you to play it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I really want to keep playing it because the visuals are so good.
Yeah, I want it to be great. I really do.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm for sure gonna play more, and maybe I'll kind of turn a corner on it. But yeah, we'll see. Niamh,
here we fucking go.
Let's talk about Deathloop.
Am I the only one who played it?
No,
Who's played it?
I
You
played
it, Bryan?
I've not. I'll get a loan of it later, please. I just want to have a go off it.
I will give it to you.
Thank you.
Deathloop is Arcane of Dishonored and Prey fame's newest roguelike. No.
Time reset first person shooter.
I don't first person shooter. That's as much as I can describe this game. You
a
got your guns.
shooter.
You fuck it. That's yeah.
Immersive sim first person shooter ish.
Clockwork game.
Yeah. It does feel like
it's a TikToker.
Yeah, it's the fourth loop game of this year.
Yeah. Oh
wow. So I guess that's the defining characteristic of games in 2021 is
That's
like
very relatable.
break the loop.
4
kind of
to
games.
7 years ago, a bunch of game developers all attended one particular GDC talk and was like, "Wait a minute."
So the premise of Deathloop is you play as Colt, who is an adult man.
He is. She's right.
It's absolutely confirmed that those two facts are correct.
Like, we can confirm that there is not a twist in this game where you look in the mirror and you're a baby.
That would be really good.
No, he's legally an adult man.
What have I done?
The only reason I say that is like there's no children in this game, which I really, really like. Every character in this is like a real like burnout adult who thinks they're the best, but they're not.
Yeah. They're the children.
But Colt wakes up on a beach and he has no memory of why he's there, and he's trying to piece things together. Very quickly, he gets a buzz on his radio from Juliana, who's an adult woman. Just going to describe people
also
like that.
Not a baby. Although she does have an ability to transform into other people.
She could probably transform into a baby.
Yeah.
Juliana is exceptionally mean to Colt, like so much so that the first few lines I got from her, I was like, oh.
Juliana fucking rules.
She's great. It's like, but it's so mean. Like, and I knew their relationship was going to be this antagonistic, like the spider trying to catch the fly kind of thing consistently. But like, man, they go in on each other.
I think from what I'd seen in pre-release stuff, I thought Juliana was going to be a lot more serious, but she's so playful and fun.
Yeah, she's really she brings a lot of humor to everything, but so does Colt, and I think
like both their voice actors are just like killing it.
The voice acting in this is so good that when you hear like collectible tapes from the other characters, they're visionaries. I can't wait to meet them. Like, there's so much personality gone into the VA already. Like, Colt's voice actor is so fantastic and just brings an emotional range to like video game voice acting that you don't really see. Like, it's...
I immediately felt sorry for him and also thought he was hilarious.
Yes. It brings a lot of him forward. But Colt is trying to figure out why he's on this island, why he can die and wake up on the beach again, and why he can kill people and they appear back again. And it's basically Colt putting together the story of the loop, and everything feeds back into that. How the mission structure, how you select things, how you play things.
Niamh, it is kind of like, I think you're right. It is actually kind of roguelike-y. Like,
yeah.
It's when you pull back and look at the loop of this game, yeah, it does kind of have that.
I guess kind of Returnal is like that as well. There's a lot of this year.
It's weird. I think this is a very like complicated game to get your head around. Like it is so like I think I'm about 5 or 6 hours in and I still feel like I'm learning new mechanics and new concepts. Like I haven't even gotten all the powers yet.
Yeah. I feel like they have to really drip feed stuff for you because they're trying to get across a story to you, but also like, okay, here's the guns. Okay, here is your powers. Okay, here is this type of thing you can find in the world called Residium. So, like a roguelike, after Colt ends a day, and the day is split into 4 times, morning, midday, afternoon, and night. After you reach the end of that day, you're brought back to the beach and you go through it again. And you can pick multiple locations at different points of the day and different things will be happening. So if I go to one location and a building is burnt down, but I needed the information in that building, I can go back in the morning to that building before it was set on fire and explore it then. Or if I am going to try and take out a visionary, but they keep setting off a reactor and blow me up when I do it, I can go at a different point of the day, find schematics for the reactor and turn it off before it reaches that point. So you can kind of sabotage stuff that will trip you up along the way. But the only way you know to do that is to do the loops multiple times and explore the different areas multiple times, so you can start to put together a play-by-play.
She said Playboy.
A Playboy.
You've got a Groundhog Day it.
Yeah, you got a Groundhog Day it, and like Colt starts remembering stuff, and it turns out that Colt and Juliana are the only 2 people on the island remembering that they're in a loop.
Yeah, you get some really... I don't know if I describe it as like horror, but like there's this bit where like you're listening to a scientist talk and she's just making the breakthrough that her like memory keeps cycling, and that basically she's made this breakthrough like she doesn't know how many times, and she's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
it's
So the characters are in a time loop, but at this point they're in the middle of a mania time loop, so like the story starts in the middle.
You don't know how long this has been going on, but Juliana sounds like this is not the first time you've become like, I don't know, self-aware.
Yeah, but at this point, so the story's establishing a foundation from there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So the premise is, as Colt, you find out the way to end the loop is to kill all the visionaries on the island, and there's 8 different visionaries.
And they're all targets. And Juliana does not want you to break the loop. She wants to keep the loop intact. So she becomes this kind of persistent enemy who will spawn at different times, and can sometimes, if you have your game set to just like open, it can be another player spawns in and just like will decimate you. And this is like, you know, it's an arcane game. You might be stealthing around with your nail gun, like getting like perfect headshots and not like setting alarms, and then all of a sudden a player as Juliana will just fucking ruin your day. Just come and destroy you.
I had such a tense run today where like I'm not great at shooters, so like I went and I took out a visionary and like I had like half a health bar left, no lives. You basically have you have lives, I guess, in this, and I was like, I'd say 50 or 60 meters from the point, and then Juliana entered the map, and I was like, oh, like it was so tense.
You start sweating because like when Juliana enters the map as well, the way Colt gets out of each level is he goes down into the sewers and exits through the tunnels. When Juliana appears, those doors get locked, and you have to find basically a radar and destroy that, which is usually heavily guarded. So you have someone chasing you and you have to go and clear out an area to try and open up your exit. Which the pressure is on, and if you do not like that, there was one time when I was really like, I had a goal in mind where I wanted to find out information to get 2 visionaries into one time period with each other, so I could take out 2 on 1 quarter of the day, because it's the only way you're going to get 8 in one go. And I was like working towards it, and like another player came in, and they were like a very seasoned Juliana, and just put me out of my misery like instantly.
Yeah, I have friends only, so only you and Steph can come kill me.
I tried to come kill you, and I was on your map, and then it was like you fell into water and died.
Nice work, Niamh. You fucking crushed him.
I was just like, I'll find him, and then it's just like Colt has died in the water, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I didn't know that was you. That's crazy.
Yeah. The stuff with the Juliana
I'll be playing a lot over the
invasion.
weekend.
Okay, cool. The stuff with the invasion stuff is Juliana can only invade when there's a visionary on the map, and only can invade in the first 5 minutes of you entering a map. So say if you're like 20 minutes on a map and you're having a great time, you won't get a player
That's
Juliana.
weird. No, although
That's fair.
no, it wasn't a player Juliana with the story. It was like a computer
You'll
Juliana.
get an AI
Yeah.
Juliana to complete the story, and that Juliana is like...
She was kind of stupid.
She's kind of stupid.
But the enemies in this are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't hate that.
Yeah.
It probably helps.
There's a kind of... There's like an arcadey time splitters feel to this that I actually really like.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like fodder.
These are... A lot of them are... Like, they will kill you. Like, if there's enough of them and you make bad decisions, they'll kill... Like, you do not take a lot of damage before you die. But some of them do have kind of like... They're kind of bowling pins.
It kind of like... It feeds into the narrative, because like... Arcane can do really good AI, so a lot of people have been like, oh, maybe it's just shitty AI. I don't think they're doing shitty AI, you know, like, I think this is very on purpose, where you can blow up an area, you can lose stealth, and just like everyone will start running at you, but the people behind a door will not have heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
I
it's
like that.
Yeah, so you can re-enter stealth.
Because like conceptually, I love the idea that you have one shot to make your way in. But like in practice, I can think of all the times that I'm playing a stealth game and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. And now it's like, you know, yeah.
I've like lost
They have to make
stealth,
accommodations because people need it. Yeah, it's got to be streamlined somehow.
It's definitely the easiest Arcane game to get into, I think.
That's probably done on purpose as well to get a wider audience, I assume.
Yeah.
Because like their games are, you have to bang your head against a wall.
And even then, like I still would not say I have a good grasp on what this game is. You know, like I'm getting there, and like I think I get it, but I'm gonna need another couple of hours with it before I feel comfortable.
It's like easiest, I think, from the first-person shooter side of things. In this way, it gives you allowances, like you won't blow up a map and have them all searching for you if you lose stealth in one section. Or maybe the AI is a little stupider, but like they explain that these people have been partying forever. Like they've been stuck here in this cycle for ages, so they've become really nihilistic, and sometimes they just kill themselves for fun because they know they'll just wake up the next day anyway.
Yeah, like you'll come across a crowd of them being like, do it, and one of them's like on a cliff and he's like, I'm gonna do it, and then he just jumps off.
So like it feeds into that stuff for sure, but like in terms of it being complicated, like this game feeds so much back into itself at all times that you're just kind of unlocking different parts of it. I feel like I'm building a clock, like I'm identifying all the pieces of it and putting something together.
I was gonna say there's a real puzzle box feel to it.
And how much of this, so you're gonna lose a lot of stuff on a run, but is there stuff that gets saved over?
So this is like an entirely different system. The currency in the game is called like Residium. Yeah. And basically, if you find a really cool item or a gun or a power, you can infuse it with Residium. And if you collect enough Residium on that run, that like power or like trinket or weapon is going to stay with you from this point on. So you're basically... You are leveling up things to become permanents.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, like, I have a power I like, and I put a lot of Residium into that. So now that when I wake up on the beach again, I have that.
Yeah.
And when you reach like the end of your day, and like you have a whole pile of stuff, you can like destroy them to get Residium out of them, which is good to do because by the time morning hits, you'll have lost it all anyway. So, like, you can just like.
So you'll do runs where you're just grinding stuff?
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
But it's nice because like I don't think I have had a run where, and like I am shit at shooters. I have not made it I have not survived till the end of a day. But I have never had a run where I felt like I was wasting my time. Like I always felt like I either picked up a useful piece of information, like one of the things I figured out recently is like all the visionaries, none of them are meant to be in the same place at once, but 2 of them are hooking up secretly, and I found the location they're hooking up. And like I think I died shortly after that. I didn't get anything else from that run, but that piece of information is so valuable.
And so Is the game like Hitman where all your targets are on a set path that have a cause and effect?
It is kind of like Hitman, but less serious, I guess. But yes, you can. The visionaries you find are usually doing the same thing because they're all like.
But they have like something they need to do at 2:00, and
exactly.
This woman is going to preach to her cult in the morning, and she's going to go to this party in the evening.
And can you snipe them out and have it done and dusted, or does it have to be like does it have to set itself into a like arena?
You can snipe them.
Yeah,
you can take them out. I
don't
way.
think I've ever killed a visionary with like one of the clever ways. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've always just like, oh, I'm gonna sneak up on them and do this. Like you can get pretty tricky with them.
Yeah, I just wonder, can you like plant a bunch of bombs in advance and just
definitely.
There's definitely stuff you can do, like to plan things out and make them easy for you, like turn off power on stuff, and like so you have the upper hand kind of thing.
Like you could totally like wall them in. Like there was one visionary, I basically got a bunch of turrets and set them up outside his office and threw a grenade into his office, and he ran outside and the turrets killed him. Like just stuff like that.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd be really curious to see, like, in a year's time, or, well, probably not, in less than a year, there's going to be, like, YouTube compilations of, like, the most, like, well-optimized run.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And that's going to be fascinating.
Visually, this is, like, such an arcane game where they have an aesthetic that they have researched and are committed to, and it looks cool. So this is kind of like a retro 60s, 70s kind of style with it.
Because the trailers were, like, done, like, the Saul Bass opening titles.
Well, this is like, it's like, I bet the Arcane Studios is just full of like old just furniture books and interior design stuff, because the chairs are that retro look, the shelving have the curved edges, it always has that like wood paneling look to it.
That first interior you go into is just like, whoa, like I don't know that I've ever been in a video game environment like this. Like maybe something like No One Lives Forever, but like not to this fidelity, so and not even close.
It's got that bronze, gold, and olive decor.
Yeah.
It's got that,
But it also has this cool thing where like all the old buildings, like they look like it's like Scotland or something. Like it's these big manors, but they're like really grey and on the side of cliffs, and
real
it's
craggy
like,
ones.
Yeah, and it looks like a rainy day all the time. But then there's all this like extreme like pop art, like, and like wolf's head and like just art that's hanging around.
All the bad guys wear masks.
Yeah.
And which I think they impartially do, because like you're like slitting their throats and like cracking their necks, and I think it'd look really fucked up if you could see their faces. But the masks are cool. Like some of them are like reflective, some of them are like golden, some of them are like wolf heads and stuff. And just it's rad.
Yeah. Sounds like that show The Prisoner. I don't know if you've seen that. You know where it's like a bunch of
Simpsons did a parodies of
where they're like a bunch of secret geniuses are on an island, and there's that big bubble that chases them. It
totally has that feeling.
Yeah, because that's like the thing of it as well. I feel like I'm like uncovering the lore all the time, but it's like it's all these people who think they're the geniuses, who think they should live forever on this island to preserve their genius forever, kind of thing. And it seems like Colt is like, I need to get out of this kind of thing.
And like when you get close to them and you start learning like what makes their ticks, they're all just fucking idiots. Like there's this one guy, and he's taken audio clips of the other visionaries and cut them up to make it sound like they're being like, Charlie, we all think that you are the best one here. And you find several of those tapes, and it's like, wow.
There's a really good line that's just like the scientist, basically, he clipped her to say, I want your brain in my brain. It's very good.
Yeah.
So you're both still like figuring this game out.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're a lot further on than me, Niamh.
I've played a lot of it, and I've like a loadout that I really like, but like I find some of like, this would be my quibble with it, is it can feel demoralizing where you have a goal. Say I'm like, okay, I'm going to go this place in the morning and I'm going to find out this side quest thing to see if I can open this safe or do this other thing. And you follow a marker and, okay, it's the wrong time of day, or okay, I need to do something else before I get here. And you've nothing else really left to do on that map, and it just kind of feels like you wasted a morning.
Yeah, sometimes I follow the side quest marker to a location and it's like, oh, there's nothing I can do here.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do, and it's just like, I don't know if I'm just like not getting what they're asking me to find, or if I'm missing it, but I feel like I'm going to places and I'm spending a lot of time going to a marker, realizing there's nothing there for me now, and going back and trying a different marker.
So I had that with the delivery pods for ages. Okay,
I haven't figured them out at all.
I figured it out. And all it was is I just happened upon a blackboard that just had a number written on it.
I know that blackboard. I took a screenshot of that.
Okay, yeah, so did I. And I just said, I guess I'll try this, but it's weird because the way the game works a lot of the time is you'll read something or listen to an audio recording and it will tell you the important part about that audio recording. This is just a purely environmental piece of art.
So do you need to write it down in a notebook?
You need to write it down in a notebook or screenshot it. And then I tried that on the delivery terminals, and now I can use the delivery terminals.
Well, that explains those. But there's other stuff as well. Like I found a safe and it doesn't have a crank on it. But then I found the crank in a different time. And I was just like, I need to know how to get this to here. And I haven't figured it out. And I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time trying to figure it out. And I don't know if it's because there is no answer and I'm looking in the wrong place, or there is an answer and I'm doing it wrong.
I think despite like how well designed this game is, I do think there is a bit of jank to it.
Yeah.
Like I would not say that like the game design of this is like super tight or anything. I think this is like, you are not getting a super polished, structured experience. It's much more the opposite end of the pool, where it's like, this is a very messy toy box and you're going to enter it your own way. And like, I think there's advantages to both, you know, like the other side of it is like, I think figuring out your own solutions to things is fucking brilliant. And like, I think one of the most satisfying moments I've had in games this year is I got the Nexus power, and it connects the lives of multiple different soldiers. So I was on the side of a cliff and I just threw it down and it connected four different people, and I took out my sniper rifle and I shot one in the head and they all died. And brilliant. That was amazing. That felt so good.
The Nexus power is great.
Yeah.
Another power you have is, it's like Blink from Dishonored, where you can kind of port kind of to places. And I got into a huge building that I shouldn't have been able to get into because I used it to scale up the side of it and get in a window. And there's like just a whole pile of cool things like that where you feel like different people are going to play this different ways, but I feel like we're all going to get to the same point.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like it feels like it's funneling me to a place.
Yeah, I sometimes the game makes me feel like I'm cheating, and even though I totally amn't, you know, but that's cool. I guess a problem I kind of have with it is like, I love this world and I love these characters, but there's a cutscene right at the start. I think it's like the first thing that happens, and it's Juliana stabbing you to death, and it's awesome. And like her model is fucking cool, and her face is like right up next to you, and it's like, it's a really great moment of her character. And that was kind of the last like piece of real, I don't know, like cinematic story I've gotten. And I feel like that's kind of disappointing because like I really am interested in all these characters, but it feels like the most I'm ever going to get from them is like audio logs and diary entries, and I'm never going to have like a real proper character moment with them. And that feels a bit disappointing.
I think you're right, and I do feel that as well, because I feel like I'm always interested in seeing who these characters are, but sometimes I've like, you know, I've gone up behind them and killed them before I got to even see them walk around the room, because I've just walked into the room and I'm like, oh shit, there she is.
Yeah, bang,
like
bang, whenever I'm that close to a visionary, I'm like, I need to fucking kill this person right now, you know?
So it's all these cool people that seem to have all these cool internet-connected relationships, but it's all done through collectibles, which I like. But a lot of them are missable. Like, a lot of them are just slotted in places, you know, and a lot of it was just like, oh, well, I'll read that later because I'm on my run and I'm doing stealth kind of thing. So you are missing those kind of interpersonal things a bit.
I feel like if it had that element of it, I would really, really love that. But, like, even without it, I am really enjoying this game. And this is a first-person shooter, as I've said multiple times now. Not really my genre, but I'm kind of fascinated by this thing. And, like, the more I understand its structure, the more I get that toy box, the more, like, I enjoy this game, but also just kind of respect the hell out of it. You know, I've never played anything like this, ever. Like, it's kind of like Hitman. It's kind of like the other arcane stuff, but it's honestly, it just feels really unique, and I think it has a really strong identity. Like, it has such a strong vibe and tone, and it's fucking cool. And like, I think it's selling really well, and I would be very happy for Arcane if that were the case.
I think it is too. I think being the PS5 game to get right now is helping it a lot.
It's a big enough deal that you are seeing people lose their minds about it, to the point that now the backlash of people losing their minds to it has begun.
Yeah, I've seen the it's overrated articles being published now.
Oh yeah.
The Game Awards, they announced, I think it's the 9th of December this year. I think Deathloop's probably going to do pretty well for itself.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Like, I think anything it gets, it will be worth it, but also, like, I don't know. There's a lot of great games this year. If Game Awards actually did due diligence and, you know, brought indies into that space, I think Deathloop would have a lot more competition.
It would.
Just give No More Heroes 3 a chance, guys. Just
I'm still thinking about that game.
Oh, me too. I forgot that game. Yeah. Deathloop's great. I am very happy to be playing it, and there's something about it that really brings me back to, like, GoldenEye Perfect Dark era shooters, and that's crazy to me.
It is very arcadey.
Yeah, but it's cool. You seem to really be enjoying it, Niamh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to play more. I feel like I'm like uncovering something every time I play it, and that's exciting.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. I definitely feel like this. Like at the end of every session, I'm like, this is what I took away from that, and that's such a cool feeling to have with the game.
And I know I did say it's like the 4th or 5th loop game this year, but it does, like, it's very much its own thing.
Yeah. Quicktime Events. This first bit of news I think we're all very excited about. You think of, like, dream pairings in video games, and it's really hard to think of one that's more appropriate than Star Wars X Quantic Dreams. Bryan, I'd like to know, first of all, like, what is your dream scenario here?
Okay, so I guess, you know, as someone who is looking forward to the visceral Star Wars game directed by Amy Hennig, and unfortunately that game is no longer happening.
Yeah, throw that shit in the garbage.
But at least, you know, we get our David Cage Star Wars game.
Exactly.
I'm very relieved that, you know what, unironically, I can't wait to play this fucker.
Oh, I'm so excited.
What the fuck is this
Oh
guy?
my god.
I am both pained by this, but actually kind of delighted, because it sounds like a mess.
This is going to be the best car crash ever.
Oh, I hope R2D2 teaches me about racism.
Of course, like, Quantic Dream makes the Star Wars in, like, the time of the sequel saga. Like, that stuff is just so soulless.
Like, Star Wars wise, we're in the darkest timeline, and this is the game we get. You know, like, this is just the reality, and I think it's best just to embrace it.
But the good point of it as well is, like, they clearly are very willing to give the Star Wars license to anyone now. Where they were very, like, you know, it was like LucasArts that was making games, and we had a few games here and there, like Star Wars Force Unleashed. But now I feel like we're gonna, like, they've opened the floodgate and they're like, let there be Star Wars games. So, like, I mean, if you do the math, like, a couple of them will be good.
Yeah. And, like,
all I'm hoping
with this
for.
Quantic Dreams game, it'll probably look beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I bet there's going to be some sections where you're going to be able to wander around, like, I don't know, a stormtrooper locker room. Do stormtroopers have locker rooms, Niamh?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, and, like, you're going to be able to open the lockers, and one of them will have a picture of Darth Vader, and that'll be cute, right? Right?
Yeah. And one of them will learn to paint.
Yeah.
I think thematically this game is going to be busted.
Yeah.
There's going to be tonal whiplash, and by the end of it you're just going to not understand what it means to be a Star Wars fan. But that's normal.
That's just
so
a modern
normal.
experience.
Yeah. Like, talk about Mandalorian season 2 and their slight pivot to maybe we are as bad as the Imperials. This is like, no. I don't know if this is where I want this to go, where it's kind of like, you know, the Imperialist army, are they actually awful? Or is it just a few people who are doing what they had to do?
Niamh, both sides.
You can't do that with Star Wars.
You have to look at everything, both sides. You know, you have the reasonable people on one side and the Nazis on the other, and you just gotta give them both a fighting chance.
I was really having a good time with Mandalorian Season 2 until I wasn't.
I just got super bummed about that girl in it. What's her name? I don't care what her name is. She sucks.
She's gone now.
Yeah, she is.
Fuck her.
They have the Book of Boba Fett coming out at the end of the year on Disney Plus, and you know that's going to be like the fans are going to get serviced to the max.
Hey, Star Wars Visions just came out. That looks kind of cool.
It does.
It's a Animatrix but Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get a nice cup of coffee and perhaps a pastry and watch it Saturday morning with
Sounds
Michelle.
Delightful.
She's so excited. Nintendo Direct. Can we just talk about it?
Yeah.
Can we just jump straight to it? Chris Pratt as Mario.
Mamma mia!
I'm just gonna say I don't know why people are so annoyed about this. I mean, sure, the dude cheated on his wife, but he did make up for it by becoming a homophobe.
There's just, like, if you could think of any actor that has overexposure right now, it's Chris Pratt. Like...
It's like a joke casting.
Yeah, like, he's purely there for marketing purposes, because he's a bankable actor. He's not there because someone gave a shit.
But, like, even the people I like in this, I don't like Chris Pratt, but, like, say Anna Taylor-Joy is Peach or whatever, I don't think of her and go, what a distinctive voice. And it kind of, like, it's the Daisley Ridley in 12 Minutes thing where she's a British actress and they're, like, put on American accent. It's not even about them
It's
at this
like,
stage.
This
it's just
is
a name.
such a problem with voice actors. I was actually talking to Oni about this recently, and like Oni was telling me that they recently, I think, interviewed someone who was like, yeah, that's becoming like a problem in the industry where it's like, you know, voice acting is its own art, and these people, it's just like, well, let's get this A-list actor to do it. And yeah, like, I don't know why you hire Chris Pratt other than the headlines.
I am happy about Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
I'm happy about Charlie Day as Luigi. I think Charlie Day will make a fantastic Luigi.
They've got a couple of Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, which is very good casting.
Pretty good.
He's from Portlandia. They have Key from Key and Peele. He's going to be Toad.
Sure.
Yeah, like, see, for me, what I would want with this Mario movie is no voice acting, or the bare minimum, kind of like the Shaun the Sheep movies, if you've seen them, where it's mostly corporal acting and it's all just like, you know, it's done like a silent film with like the occasional pizza pasta mentioned.
What if they tried to go like a grittier direction, and it's like Mario starts off and he's just like a normal plumber and he gets sucked into like a dino city?
That'd be pretty cool too, but
Yeah.
they actually already did that, unfortunately.
I don't think so, Brian.
They did. I watch that movie every couple of years, and I feel feelings about myself while I watch it. Not happy, but, you know, not sad either.
Okay, well, what about like a Street Fighter movie where we get Kylie Minogue to play Cammy?
I actually did like that.
That's a fucking great movie. Gets better every year I watch it.
It does. Everyone is wearing costumes and they're saying their lines with absolute pizzazz. I don't think Chris Pratt would make a very good Mario, and apparently he's Mario. Shigeru Miyamoto said so himself, and he had a big fucking smile on him. Miyamoto's a weird guy. He doesn't make video games at Nintendo anymore, and they invented a job for him, creative fellow, because the last game he made was Star Fox Zero, and that game tanked.
Yeah.
And
I remember,
they don't want like he's purely a like he's there for videos and PR stuff, but he does not do game creation anymore.
I think like Nintendo really, or like for a lot of people, really fall in love with this idea of like Miyamoto as like the kindly old man of Nintendo. But anytime I've ever read an interview with him, he's always like, I am very difficult to work for and I am quite mean. And I've read other things where people are like, Miyamoto-san is very demanding. And it's like, that's who that guy is. Like, he is one of those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go see this movie.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Are you gonna see this, Brian?
Oh yeah, I saw the Sonic movie. I'm gonna sit down with a big fucking bucket of popcorn and a big stupid fucking face on my head, and I'm gonna be like, "It's me, a fucking idiot." Like, it's just, I have to go see this thing.
I know.
I hope it's really bad, because if the movie's somewhere in the middle, I'm gonna be so bummed.
What if it's good,
Illumination
Brian?
makes
I-
pretty looking bad movies.
Illumination are very talented. They made films like Despicable Me and The Lorax.
Yeah, Despicable
and
Me.
Sing.
Despicable Me, separate from all the fucking Minions merchandising and bullshit, is fine. It's grand.
I actually like the first one because it's just about a
But
guy
that's the
who's trying to
best
break
one,
into someone's house.
and it's fine. Like, that's the best Illumination movie is Despicable Me, and it is only okay.
Yeah, but I hear you. I just didn't hate it. You know?
They made Secret Life of Pets. I like that because it has pets in it. I just think anything that has cartoon animals wins me over. But it's got Jack Black as Bowser. That could work.
Do you think Bowser will do like a musical number?
He's a bombastic guy. I don't know if Bowser Jr.'s in this. Like the Koopalings are in it.
I just hope Bowser kills Mario. Like, even more now.
Like, he's trying to do his like Jurassic World thing again where he's like, no, I'm good with reptiles. And no, he's not.
God, that fucking movie. I think we should release the Velociraptors.
No.
Room full of people is like, no, I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, so the actual Nintendo Direct.
Okay, the actual Nintendo Direct.
This is where they announce games that are going to come out later this year and in the first half of next year, approximately. Mm-hmm. And it was overall, it was fairly positive. I
thought it was pretty strong direct. Yeah, a lot of stuff got me excited
compared to other directs where you're just like, wow, they got nothing. At least, they've got stuff.
I feel
that
like we haven't got
games.
a nothing direct in a while.
Yeah,
like I don't think the directs have been super common this year, but like when they come out, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
I couldn't list off everything that they showed off, but I guess the one that stuck out to me is that they're making another Kirby game. That's expected
and that looks cool.
It looks cool. It's Kirby with Z depth. Because the previous game was Kirby Star Allies, and then there was that weird like cash grab reuse Kirby game.
That Kirby game, I said this to you, Brian, it has this really strange look of like when the N64 was coming out and they were just publishing concept screenshots in magazines. It looks like one of those concept screenshots.
Yeah, it does.
It's really weird, but it looks lovely. I think it looks great.
So this is post-apocalyptic cityscape Kirby with all the vegetation grown over. For ages, he didn't have power-ups in the trailer, so I was like, oh, maybe it's like back to basics, but then no, he's got power-ups. But there's new enemy designs where he's fighting lots of wild animals, but it seems like with them, he can't use copy abilities against them, so it does have a survival element to it.
That'd be fucked up.
Yeah. But the fact that it has him walking or moving in 3D space in the Z depth,
yeah,
because that's something they do in the final act of the previous Kirby game. Some of the boss battles, you're in this like large arena, and you can kind of move around in it.
Oh, weird.
So they're just using that tech again, but implementing it for the whole game. Like I'm sure there will be 2D sections in it. But yeah, I'm very curious to play this game. It's out next year.
We got a Bayonetta 3 trailer. That game's not dead.
Yeah. It exists. It's been like more than 1,000 days since they mentioned it last, and there was some funny stuff with Hideki Kamiya being like, "Oh, I can't talk about that game," and people were being like real bummed out about it. But turns out for once that like bad information or the bad news was actually good news.
Yeah.
It looks like a younger Bayonetta, so because like those games have a weird timeline where time loops and falls in on itself. So it looks like it's Bayonetta before the events of Bayonetta 1.
There's a point I get to in Bayonetta 2 where the timeline all makes sense to me, but then like a fragile piece of glass, it just shatters and I don't understand it again.
Yeah.
I bet it's not actually Bayonetta because she had like this drill curls, and that's like such a character trope hairstyle that is not Bayonetta's character at all. So I think she's a clone. I say that as someone who has no knowledge of these games.
I mean, it could be a clone, it could be a Bayonetta from a different timeline. What do you guys think of her redesign?
It's cute. I still love her Bayonetta 2 design the most.
Bayonetta 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think she looks so good with short hair.
I think the hair is sus. Like, I think that...
I
think that communicates something about that character that I'm not sure, but like, overall, I like it. I think it's nice.
I feel like there wasn't really a whole lot to say gameplay. Yeah, that looks like Bayonetta.
Yeah, she's dancing in the foreground while the Super Beast hair is doing the damage in the background.
Yeah.
It's Bayonetta.
Yeah. I am going to undoubtedly get that game. Like, there's no... Like, Bayonetta 2 is still one of my favorite games I've ever played. And, like, same with the first one. Like, they're both awesome. And this looks great.
So they announced the Voice of Cards, the Isle of Dragon Roars, which I played the demo for, and I think that's like October 28th that's out. But they also gave the full title to what was originally called Project Triangle Strategy.
Oh,
yes.
finally. What did they call it?
Triangle Strategy.
Cool. They just shortened it.
Yeah, it's like, it's so weird. It's like, I'm gonna get this game because like I like that type of game. They were really like, we listened to the survey results and like we've cleaned up the like UI.
I was so
and the
glad
movement.
to hear that because like I that game looked cool, but like that demo was something to me that needed to be QA'd to fuck.
Like there was some weird stuff in it.
It was so awkward. It was so janky. Like I hope they.
It kept finding itself on that isometric angle where you
Yeah.
just couldn't tell if you were going up or left.
Because it had like elevation to it where you could climb up things, but then if you went down ones, then the camera would just drop because there was another square that was lower down.
Yeah, and like it was the kind of thing where like there's no big change to be made. It's just 1,000 small changes,
Yeah.
and like that's what would take that game I think from like a 7 to a 9. So hopefully they've done that.
My big note as well was the story seems a little dry. I hope it is less dry.
You know what would be fun if one of these characters was a dog wearing armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that's something, at least that slice they gave in the demo was so weird. It was like,
Yeah.
here's a bunch of character death.
I remember that one line where it's like, I will never forgive you for what you did at my cousin's wedding, and it was like, seems like a lot's going on here.
Which, like, with how dry the story is and then calling a triangle strategy, like, it's like, it feels like it's setting itself up to be kind of disposable. Like, who says my favorite game is triangle strategy?
It sounds like a mobile game.
Yeah, it's like, a triangle strategy is like a description of a genre, and like a bad one, like a corner scratcher. Like, it's not like a name of a game.
I didn't make up Corner Scratcher. It just became the name, okay?
I'll make you up.
Trinity Wars, call it that.
That's much better.
There we go.
That is much better.
That's a bigger word.
Still means the same thing.
Can you do it again, Niamh?
Fuck. No.
You know what, Brian? It's getting late, so I was going to say let's move on, but let's just give her a minute here.
How about Church of the Trifecta Awakening?
That's pretty good. What about Three Houses?
I like it. It's good.
Second time's a charm.
What about
Third time's a charm.
What about Pokemon Red and Blue?
Red and or blue.
Yeah, I hope that game ends up good, as I do all games. Sony Interactive Entertainment acquires Bluepoint Games.
Good for them.
Yep.
So Bluepoint is like that studio that's been doing all the remakes for them. So they
For
did
Sony anyways.
Yeah.
It's great job security for the staff.
Yep.
They said their new thing will be a new project. So that doesn't mean it's going to be a new IP, but it could be a new thing within existing Sony IP.
Last of Us 1, baby.
That is on it. That is coming out.
Again.
Well, like the way I see it, if the 2025 remake of Last of Us 1 is going to be good, we need to start working on it now.
Yeah.
Real quick little one. Deltarune Chapter 2 came out and it is free. I have not played this game. I am going to tuck it away in my game pouch and play it at a later date. I do not have time right now, and at some point I just want to take it out when I have nothing else going on and just sit there with a glass of wine and enjoy my dumb bullshit.
I thought Toby Fox's statement of everybody's had it real tough, so it's free, was super sweet.
Yeah, that was a classy move.
And it was announced, 2 days before it came out, and it was coming to PC and Mac, Linux, on itch.io, that kind of setup. But then the following week was also coming to Switch, which I was like, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did try to start it and continue from where I left off, but I had no context for where I was. So I think I'm going to have to start from Chapter 1 again.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
'Cause I played that on stream as well, and I have this thing when I play stuff on stream, I don't remember anything.
I was saying to Niamh when you were out, just in between bits, Deltarune was announced as Eastward launched, and those two games kind of are going after the same audience. And I kind of feel a bit bad for Eastward because that game didn't get as big an audience as it thought it was going to get because of Deltarune.
Yeah.
But that's just unfortunate. That's just how it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully that game does alright. Emails.
you want to email us?
I would love to email you guys, but you don't have an email address, so there's no way for me to do it.
No, we do.
No shit, really?
Yeah, and I'm going to pass this one over to Niamh. Niamh, what's our email?
Ask let's fight a boss at gmail.com.
Well, I was like, she made it pretty far in. I think she's going to do it.
Ask let's fight a boss at gmail.shit.
Yeah.
Ask let's fight a boss at gmail.com. Brian, how good have the emails been lately? Before we dive in, let's measure the temperature here. Do people need to try harder? Have we got some stone cold winners?
I am liking the standard we're getting.
Okay.
I would like it to be continued, please.
Okay.
I am not giving you the merit you deserve yet, but you have won my favor.
I think one of my favorite ongoing bits of this podcast is just Brian's latent anger towards the emails.
God, we got some emails and they were so bad. Like, I just read one and I was like, dude, come on.
Every time we say something like that on the emails, we get a million apology emails, and it's never the person who sent it.
All right, I got one here. PYN.
Okay.
I'm gonna say peen. 3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the first question.
Okay.
You found out there will be a zombie apocalypse in the near future. What is the single item you will stock up and hoard to prepare? I think you told me this one before, Niamh.
Oh, I'm full on my tobacco and spices.
I thought you were gonna do tampons.
Tampons are a great idea, Bryan.
Tampons and tobacco are probably like the 2 big T's right there. I am going to hang on to... Damn, that's good.
See, with tampons, you can block a wound with it. You
Yeah,
can, like,
they're so they're multifunctional.
yeah. You just use them. You can throw them. You can probably fill a pillowcase and sleep on them.
Yeah.
And tobacco, everyone wants to barter with the person with tobacco. Because things are going to get hard and they'll want to smoke.
I'm going to take all the shoelaces.
Yeah.
Shoelaces are also multifunctional.
I'm gonna have so much fucking soap.
You motherfucker.
Yep. I'm gonna make sure I'm taking soap from other people, and I'm gonna smell so good in that apocalypse.
Liquid or bar?
A bar. Because with a bar, I can also...
It's a weapon.
I
You
can
put
take
it in
out
the
my
sock.
socks
Yeah.
and turn them into flailing maces and like fire them at people from a distance, or just bully people with them in up close.
Oh no, it's Soapy John.
Time to clean up, boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like a mini boss in The Last of Us 3, Soapy John.
And then there's anti-tampon.
I keep trying to hit him, but he keeps slipping.
So there's Soapy John, anti-tampon. She's gonna plug you up.
Plug you up. I'm not anti-tampon. I'm like Mrs. Tobacco.
I think you're
You
anti-tampon.
just gave me the tampons as an extra thing.
You want? Well, I'll gladly take tampons. It's a good fucking
It is.
commodity.
Okay, look, between the 3 of us, we'll definitely have the tampons.
We're gonna be such a fun gang.
Okay, so how about none of us have the tampons, but it's about each different village going after the tampon horde that's in like a building surrounded by zombies.
And we'd arrive at the village and we'd have to try and act super chill, like we're not going for the tampons. But they'd eventually figure it out and we'd get run out of town.
Okay, and for some reason we all have
The
British
tampon bandits, they got away again!
For some reason, okay, yeah, so we all have different accents, and you're like, "Hello, Lisa," and I'm like, "Hello," and like my whole thing is that I just make like little ropes, and I try to climb up them, but they don't really do it. So then what I do is I choke people out with the laces. They'll fucking get you.
Mm-hmm. I set up kind of soap traps, so I just like dampen the soap a little bit, and I put the bar on the ground.
But
and
they just
people
skid along before.
They just skid off into the horizon on that thing. Yep. See you later. Soap you later is what I'd say.
Yeah,
that's very good.
Soap and glory.
Okay, you're sent to the past with millions of dollaroos. Oh my god. What is the one product that died in the past that you want to see in the modern day for shits and giggles? That's like failed snack items, toys that faded away in time, fucking Neo Geo.
Sega Dreamcast 2, Sega Dreamcast 2, Sega Dreamcast 2.
It's a good one.
Yep. Sonic Adventure 3.
My plan is...
Shenmue 3, a good one.
My plan is to invest in Pogs, and in the future make sure that the Pogs are the new form of currency and not dollaroos. And we all fucking start slamming Pogs for cash.
So when we get into the tampon wars, that's going to be the currency.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2 slammers for a box of tampons.
Man, this world building is becoming so vivid. It's like I'm there.
Niamh, what's your like old-timey thing?
Oh, it is an old-timey thing. There used to be this British invention, because of course it was, which was an alarm clock / tea maker that you would have on your bedside table, that when the alarm went off, it also made you a cup of tea. And this wasn't very popular at all because people were burning themselves trying to turn off their alarm, and it was just kind of a menace. But I think generally there's something there to work with, like,
wow,
just an alarm going off, cup of tea right there. As a big tea drinker, sounds good.
It needs to be prototyped further because it could exist as a final product. Okay.
You should pitch it on Dragon's Den, Niamh.
These are the anti-burn gloves.
It's very important you go to sleep wearing these.
What's his name? Peter Jones? Is that
Peter
one?
Jones, yeah.
Yeah, the guy with
7 foot tall monster.
Yeah, the man with the socks. Okay, and then the last question is, you're sent to the future where EA has become the monopoly of video games. Okay. Only releasing FIFA Den 2050 every year with no changes in 2090. Okay, what is the one game you will preserve to save the soul of video games? Or ruin for your own twisted vision?
That's a tough one. Pro Evolution Soccer.
John!
Fuck.
Fuck it, let it burn.
Although, given in the world where only FIFA Den exists, maybe like Pro Evolution Soccer will just be such a breath of fresh air. I can't speak tonight.
I was weirdly invested in the FIFA versus Pro Evolution thing back in the day, just because I used to own, PlayStation magazines were my only way of consuming video game content, and I just read every review, and I could have told you all the differences between FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, Pro Evolution sounded awesome.
Yeah, because one's made by Konami, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a Japanese game.
Yeah, and one was FIFA.
Yeah. I was going to joke and say I was going to do Call of Battlefield and make sure that genre stays alive so that the two awful titans can duel on forever and ever. If there was a genre,
we lose.
It would be search action games such as Metroid or
I'm sorry, what?
Search action games.
Search action game.
But those games are still continuing.
Do you know what he's talking about, Niamh?
Never heard of it.
No.
Games like Hollow Knight.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, a stealth game, Brian. That's what you mean.
No, that's stealth action.
But you have to search. Yeah,
well.
it's like the same thing.
You don't really have to search that much. You're more of the stealth.
He means corner scratchers.
I would bring Deadly Premonition.
That's a nice game to keep around.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it weird.
If I'm gonna give a real answer, if this is a depressing post-apocalypse devoid of art and beauty, I don't know, maybe Mother 3. I think that game is lovely, and I think we all need that game forever.
My game is kind of made in response to those games as well. Anyway, that works.
Jesus, it really is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that email, PYN.
I have an email that I want us to do really quickly just to clear up something because I kind of felt bad about this. And this is from the real Josh. Oh my god. Dear Nameless One and the Former Queens, I'd like to know how you guys feel about the Wheel of Time. As well as whatever other fantasy books you may have read. Niamh mentioned Wheel of Time once in passing, but was very dismissive of it, which was pretty disappointing since it's my favourite series of all time. Do you have any thoughts of the Amazon upcoming series? I'd love to hear more about it on the podcast. So, I feel bad about this because I am someone who is dismissive of the Wheel of Time because it was my favorite book series for the longest time ever. I got into them in 2000, and about then I'd say about maybe 9 of the 16 were released because they started releasing in the early 90s. And I was the person who went to the shop and got them on release day, and because I was dyslexic, it took me a year to get through them because they're tomes.
They're just so big.
They were so big, and I loved it. I thought it was great because it was a real female-centric high fantasy, which you did not get a lot of back then. And all I was reading was stuff like David Gemmell, and I like that stuff, but it was nary a woman there but Iron Hand's daughter.
Brian, your son's misbehaving.
my hedgehog.
Trashing the place.
I'm sorry, my hedgehog wants to be fed, so he's fucking rattling the cage.
But like, I really liked it because it was a very female-centric like fantasy story. But when you're waiting for something book by book, and it took 22 years for that series to complete, and when a lot of that book series in the middle is them traveling, it just took so long to get anywhere that my hype and my like love for it, just by the time it got to the end, it had completely petered out. And I think that would be a totally different experience I would have had if the books were all finished when I was reading them. But I was just always waiting, and I remember getting one of the books, I can't remember which one it was maybe 12, and it's just like they're still on their way to the White Tower, and I was just like, get there fucking faster. Like reading a whole book that feels like a waste, like it feels like a middle chapter of something, it was just very frustrating. But I just wanted to say I loved it. My first Xbox name was like Lanfear Shedai, was like my, like I was very bought into Wheel of Time, so my dismissiveness is only comes from someone who spent a very long time being a fan only to get extremely burnt out.
You hate it with the passion of someone who truly loved it.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't even hate it, I'm just like a little disinterested in it now because it's been so long. Like I was reading them when I was a 14-year-old, and I carted all the books with me to every house I ever moved to. But yeah, I'm excited for the Amazon show. I will give it a watch. I think the casting looks good and interesting. It's just such a long story. I think it's going to be hard to adapt.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's something that will be adapted easily. So there's going to be a whole pile of compromises. But I hope it's good. Like, I would very like Wheel of Time, the TV series, to be good, because I think it could work if it gets the budget it deserves. Hopefully.
The prestige actor they have in it is I Care a Lot woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, who's she playing?
She's playing Magic Woman.
There's a lot of magic women, Brian. They're all magic women. Niamh was my favourite. She had a name that was similar to Niamh, and she was pissed off and used to pull her braid and smooth her skirts. That was all I needed as a teenager.
And what more could you want?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my feelings of the Wheel of Time. Do any of you guys have history with it? This book series?
Just that I didn't know anybody that finished them. Yeah, I think we talked about it a tiny bit on an upcoming Shenmue 2 Let's Play. Because this feels like a conversation we had, but did we?
I get so confused about what we talked about on the Let's Plays and what we talked about.
I think I was also mean about Sword of Shannara on the Let's Play as well, so I'm just trying to...
Do you want to cut that off now?
I'm trying to, like, again, only mean about things because I read a lot of high fantasy.
Assassin's books, great shit altogether.
Yeah, Robin Hobb, fantastic.
Yeah, I never got past, like, book 6. I think I got bored on the ship books.
Oh, the Live Ship Trader books? But they pay off really well, but they are much slower.
Yeah. I really want to go back, though, because I love those first 3 books so much.
But I've got some more quick-fire questions. Well, lightning round questions. We will answer them as slow as we can. These are from Joseph, okay?
Okay.
What genre of game would best translate into John's Fecal Fiasco Park Adventure?
Okay, next question.
I'd say
next question.
Death Stranding.
It is a Strand game.
Yeah, it's a Strands game. Okay. Favorite fake...
Silent Hill.
Favorite fake currency in games?
What's the one that's in a lot of the Final Fantasy 7s or Final Fantasies? Gil? I like Gil.
You like Gil?
I'm appalled that Capcom has never done Bison dollars.
I really like that Kingdom Hearts is just like, it's just money. MUNNY.
Oh,
that's kind of fun.
Okay.
I like in Banjo-Kazooie, I like the musical notes. I like the noise they make. They have a weird difficulty curve on them, where in the first game, they reset upon exiting and entering a level. But in Banjo-Tooie, you collected them permanently. That stuck in my head. Okay, you're cursed with an action being tied to a gaming sound effect that you must trigger 20 times a day or you die. What is it and what activates it? So gaming sound effect. I got one.
Go for it.
You know in the recent Tomb Raider games when you click to
yeah.
And I want that to happen every time I stretch.
I would like whenever I punch someone for it to make the sonic ring loss sound.
It's harsh.
Come on, Niamh.
The needler from Halo every time I blow my nose.
Brilliant.
There we go.
You're blowing your nose 20 times a day.
Yeah.
See, I'm fine stretching 20 times a day. It's probably good for you. And John, you're going to punch someone 20 times a day.
Well, I'm gonna like.
You could crack your knuckles.
I'm gonna like do like really tiny little punches on Michelle in a playful way, and then she'll actually hit me, and it'll be really sore.
That's what you want, isn't it? Okay. Expand the Mario movie cast. Oh, this is good. Expand the Mario movie cast by picking one character from the Nintendo verse and choosing who would voice them. Alright, so I actually thought about this when we were talking about the Mario movie earlier on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so there's the Koopalings who were originally the Koopa Kids. There's 7 of them.
Okay.
I love Wendy, and I would pick Jenny Slate to voice Wendy. She's a comedic actress, and she plays...
I love Jenny Slate.
She's in Parks and Rec as the Saperstein sister, John Ralphio's sister.
Oh, yeah, she's super good.
So she'd be really, really good as Wendy Koopa, I think.
I would pick, in that same vein, I'm going to pick Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Roy Koopa.
Hell yeah.
I don't know any extended Mario characters.
Well, who do you play as
You're
Mario
not trying
Kart?
to, Niamh. You're not trying very hard.
Who
Wiggler. Give us a Wiggler.
I think Bowser's son with the sunglasses.
That's
Bowser.
Roy. He already said The Rock.
You just asked me who I played.
Niamh, you're tanking this section.
Okay, who voices
You want to join Wooly?
Niamh, just say Danny DeVito as Monty Mole and just leave it at that.
No. Fuck. I'll get there.
Mushroom Kingdom.
Niamh, who plays Guigi?
Guigi.
It would be funny if Glenn Howarth or Rob McElhenney played
And
Luigi.
John Cena as Guigi.
Ewan McGregor.
Perfect.
Luigi. Who's the trans egg dinosaur?
Birdo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kim Petras.
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
Birdo's so cool. She was my favorite in the new Mario Tennis.
She's rad.
Okay. Okay, one more. Sorry, my brain. I feel bad for my hedgehog.
We're melting tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, bad license game that you give a slide because you're biased towards the IP. One Piece. I own a lot of shitty One Piece games.
I will go to my brain. Oh my god, go to my grave claiming. I will go to my brain claiming that Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1, which is the Dragon Ball Z fighting game everyone fucking hates. I think that's a super ambitious fighting game for its time. It was one of the first arena fighters, and in a way that actually made sense. And there was a depth to that game I don't think people appreciate. And there was all these weird what-if scenarios you could play. I think all licensed games should have weird what-if scenarios. That game was wonderful. People were just too mean for it.
I was going to say Gungrave for the PS2, but I think the anime came after the game.
In my mind, they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I still get messages from that Gungrave guy.
How about Pingu? Pingu has some games on the Game Boy.
I've never played one.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sure I would love it. I love Pingu. Pingu is super cute.
Okay, where is Pingu from? Because this confuses people. Like, what is the country of origin that the animated
I can
series?
honestly say, I've never thought about this.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so like
the UK.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Pingu is from Switzerland.
That was my second.
What the fuck? What are you doing, Pingu?
I love Pingu. Pingu's so cute.
I'll tell you what we're doing. Reading Patreon shoutouts.
Oh, you got us in a tight spot now, you dear patrons.
Okay.
With your financial contributions towards our cause.
Yeah, we so appreciate it. And you know what? I'm just going to say, some people message me saying that as soon as they become a patron, their quality of life improves dramatically. I can't say that there's any connection at all. I would never make that claim. That would be an insane claim to make. But at the same time, the volume of these, it's hard to not believe there's not something there. What do you think, Niamh?
I think it's true. I heard it makes your ass bigger or smaller depending on which one you want.
I hear there's a slider.
You get the perfect ass.
Patreon.com/LFAB. Bryan?
Patreon.com/LFA. B.
Okay,
Nearly
this first
said-
one comes from the nameless one, and this one is maybe a little unfortunately timed. The nameless one, did come in the latter half of 2019, and so you couldn't have known that the person in question was being cancelled at the moment for some pretty terrible shit. But I'm just going to read it. It says, Ric Flair is an illegal black market baby, which I learned just before this podcast from Bryan is actually true.
Yeah, he does not know his birth heritage because he was sold and adopted, essentially.
But he was exposed for doing some pretty shameful things in that most recent Dark Side of the Ring. It's all kind of a bummer, but yeah, what a fucking weird time for a Ric Flair mention to come up.
I got one here from Bitmuffin. They say, or I guess I say, Brian's been keeping One Piece warm inside his hat the whole time. That's a possibility. Like, imagine reading the last chapter of One Piece and being like, you fucking got me. And I lift up my hat and there it is.
This is from Uncle Crapper.
I wouldn't have thought Uncle Crapper's anime house was 2 years old, but I guess it is.
Yeah.
And they want me to say, I want Foot Gummy.
It was very important that foot was spelled foot. I want Foot Gummy.
I want Foot Gummy.
Go on, John, try it.
I don't know if I should. I feel like this is going to be clipped and ended up in some weird... I want Foot Gummy.
It's like a really creepy point-and-click adventure game, and that's like...
Oh, and everyone's teeth are too long.
It's great for chewing up the gummies.
My teeth goes through my head.
I bit my nan, I did.
Because she took the Foot Gummy.
She shouldn't have done that.
What is this episode?
I don't know. We're all very sleepy.
Yeah.
It's Sleepy Cast.
Yeah,
Sleepy cast. It's another sleepy cast.
it is. Past 11.
We're allowed to have a Sleepy Cast.
Yeah.
All right.
Every 1 in 4.
Yeah, 1 in 4.
Yeah, big ol' yawn. Okay, last section.
Fuck.
Loot drop.
Okay, Niamh is on YouTube looking for something.
No, I've seen some good things.
Okay, how about I go first? I know it's out of order, but to save Niamh some time, I will go first.
Go for it.
Okay, now I'm just going to buy a bit more time. I'm just going to remind everyone that I'm going to go... Oh,
Niamh, for fuck's...
It auto-played one of those 5-second unskippable ads there while she was on YouTube scrambling. Anyway, the YouTube channel I'm going to go for is Todd in the Shadows. He's very good.
Oh, he's great. Old school.
Old school. I love his channel, but he did a new video on Louis Bega's Mambo No. 5 and the history and legacy of that song, and how Louis Bega had other songs after Mambo No. 5 in which the general theme is, hey, I'm not gay, I like women, here is another song about it. And who...
Thanks.
I mean, like, I thought he was pretty emphatic about that in Mambo No. 5. Did he really feel a need to drive it home?
So his second song is about how he has a girlfriend on every continent.
Okay.
And he's Cuban-inspired music, but he is from Germany.
He's from Germany?
I know.
That is weird.
Yeah. It's a very fun video, and I think, that song gets its dues, and what an annoying song.
Yeah.
John, have you got something?
Neril just put a new video out. I think it's about his Majora's Mask remake. I bet that's a fun watch.
It's a tutorial video. I watched
Fuck it, god damn it.
Like, it's good, but it's just kind of like, unless you're actually interested in installing it, like, it's just like a tutorial video with personality. Do you want to just be like, well, you know what? It's going to be a fucking mystery link.
You know what? Mystery link.
My one is a video I watched today by Curio, and this is a video about vampires. Monstermen, Creatures of the Night. Curio, she's doing a Monstermen series just about different monsters, and this one is specifically about vampires, and it's just the history of the vampire, how they change to be like a proxy for like rich people and socialites and landlords and stuff like that, but how they were also like used for marginalized people and just the different histories and different, bringing them all together into one place and just looking at the broader cultural idea of the vampire. So fun video. I always like vampire stuff, especially with seen through a queer lens. It's pretty interesting, and Curio's channel is just really great.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's everything. I feel like some episodes we kind of like, we pull in real sleek and we land in the hangar, and sometimes we just fucking crash into the side of a hill.
I don't think we took the plane off. I don't think we flew.
Yeah, no. I think this is three naked people flying through the sky.
Yeah. But there's skid marks in the clouds for some reason.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you just shit yourself and die, and thousands of people listen to it on the internet, and somehow that's what you do now.
Bye.